Chapter 1543. Miss Jiang, do you know what the spirit replenishing pill means? Night Sorrow asked. Of course I do. I once lost a battle avatar and my soul is damaged. Although the spirit replenishing pill may not be able to make up for it perfectly, it should still have some effect, Jiang Yu said. What do you say, Miss Jiang? Night Sorrow asked. We'll call it even for the remaining 40 pills, Jiang Yu said. It's not difficult for me to refine 40 pills. If I want to, I can finish it quickly. Night Sorrow shook his head. The last time he took out the spirit replenishing pill, it was to tell Jiang Yu and the others that he was confident in alchemy. It was not because the spirit replenishing pill was cheap. Then tell me, Jiang Yu said. I won't take advantage of you. 2 spirit replenishing pills and 40 pills, we'll call it even. I need something of the 9th rank, such as a cultivation technique inheritance, a refining inheritance, or an array diagram. But I hope you won't fool me with trash, Night Sorrow said. Deal. I'll come to you later. Jiang Yu nodded. This was the difference in background. Night Sorrow's background was incomparable to Jiang Yu's, resulting in cultivation techniques, refining artifacts, and alchemy inheritances being things that he could not obtain. However, it was not difficult for Jiang Yu. As the little princess of Kanglan Manor, one of the 7 manors of Ethereal Imperial City, she could still get these things if she wanted to. Of course, it was also difficult. After Jiang Yu left, Night Sorrow went to the front desk and took an order according to the number plate. However, another guest came at this time, Gong Xianyu and Ghost Monkey. Night Sorrow ignored them, and just waved his arm for Lu Yin to receive them. The last time Ghost Monkey followed him, Night Sorrow already knew that Gong Xianyu was a scheming person. Master Knight, you're a giant, Gong Xianyu said. Why would I keep people 1,000 miles away? Night Sorrow turned his head to look at Gong Xianyu. He knew in his heart, but he did not have to say it out loud. I think there might be a misunderstanding between us. Last time, you left in a hurry. I was worried that something might have happened to you, so I let Ghost Monkey follow you, Gong Xianyu said. So that's how it is. Then I have to thank Miss Gong for her concern. Night Sorrow said with a smile, but he did not make it clear. They were all smart people, and Gong Xian naturally understood that Night Sorrow had already seen through Ghost Monkey's stalking. Now he was saying this to resolve the awkwardness. There's no need to be so polite. If Celestial Master Yi needs anything, you can ask at any time, said Gong Xianmoon. This servant is of little importance and does not dare to trouble Miss Gong. Night Sorrow cupped his hands and refused. If possible, Night Sorrow didn't want to have any entanglements with Gong Xian or Guanyue Mansion. From Gong Xian's behavior, he could see Guanyue Mansion's style of doing things. You're too polite. When you're done, I'll treat you to a drink when you have time. Gong Xianyu smiled. She knew that she couldn't rush to resolve this misunderstanding. In addition, she felt that Night Sorrow was someone without a foundation and would be easy to win over. Gong Xianyu and Ghost Monkey left Treasure Seeking Street. ZX Forever Y Forever V Read #novel miss. There's no need to be too polite with him. If you want to suppress and win him over, he won't be able to resist, said Ghost Monkey. This guy isn't that simple. You followed him in the direction of the Imperial Palace, which is also the direction of the Godfiend Castle. The time of Luofei's death also matches up, so it's possible that. Gong Xianyu glanced at Ghost Monkey, but didn't finish her sentence. Ghost Monkey was stunned, and didn't say anything. Everyone saw his alchemy and refining standards, but what about his combat strength? Without some ability, how could he have discovered that you were following him? Let's not talk about this. Gong Xianyu didn't want to touch the taboo of the Godfiend Castle. Gong Xianyu didn't dare to touch it. She could guess, but she couldn't make it public. Ghost Monkey thought for a moment, and didn't say anything. Some things weren't easy to say. Night Sorrow was still the same. When night fell, he would bring Lu Yin back to the courtyard. Sometimes he would buy some wine and food on the way. When eating and drinking, Night Sorrow would also call for Lu Yin. Although Lu Yin was a slave, Night Sorrow felt that fate was unfair. Since they were living under the same roof, he had to respect him. Lu Yin didn't change his attitude just because Night Sorrow's attitude was good. He did what he needed to do and took care of the courtyard in an orderly manner. After drinking tea together again, Night Sorrow looked at Lu Yun. I have something to say. In fact, the thing that people can't lose the most is hope. When I'm done with my work, I'll give you freedom. You can live however you want. Young master, are you serious? Lu Yun asked in astonishment. Night Sorrow had mentioned it once before, but Lu Yun thought that he was just trying to win her over, so she didn't take it to heart. After spending some time with Night Sorrow, she understood that Night Sorrow wasn't that kind of person. Yes. Actually, this is my second time buying servants at the market. The last time was Fate. Now their family is living very well. Their son is my disciple, and so is their daughter-in-law. Night Sorrow smiled. He liked the Ning family very much, so he had taken Ning Yun as his disciple. You took in a slave's child as your disciple? Lu Yun was astonished. There's no difference between nobility and lowliness. Perhaps they didn't come from a good background or have experienced some setbacks, but that won't affect their future achievements and status. Don't feel inferior. As long as you're alive and positive, everything can change. Night Sorrow stood up. He felt that Lu Yun should understand his words. After Night Sorrow left, Lu Yun fell into deep thought. Night Sorrow's words had touched her. As long as she was alive, she couldn't lose hope. This was what she had to do. Lu Yun took a deep breath and cleaned the tea table. The days were the same as before. After handing in another business, Jiang Yu came. This time it was him. Aren't you going out with any guards? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. No. This is my family's territory. No one is blind enough to provoke me. Jiang Yu didn't stand on ceremony as he directly entered the back hall of the stall. Night Sorrow followed him in. She knew that Jiang Yu was here to make a deal. Last time, I gave you a Tier 9 refining technique. This time, I'm giving you a personal letter from an Imperial Lord-level alchemist. I'm sorry about the cultivation technique. The low-level one is useless to you. I can't give you a high-level one. Jiang Yu didn't take out a jade slip, but a very simple beast hide book. Night Sorrow put away the letter and gave 2 spirit replenishing pills to Jiang Yu. You're going to make a deal without reading the letter? Jiang Yu said in surprise. I trust you, said Yishang. Trust me. If you want to cultivate a cultivation technique, you need an opportunity. The Tier 9 cultivation technique that our House of Azure Water has is in my father's hands. It was given to him by the War Emperor, so you know, Jiang Yu said. It couldn't be spread. Night Sorrow understood what Jiang Yu meant. The House of Azure Water's cultivation technique was given to him by the Ethereal War Emperor. He only had the right to cultivate it. He didn't dare to trade it. It would be blasphemous to the Ethereal War Emperor, and the consequences would be severe. I'll try my best to think of a way, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1544. I don't quite understand, said Night Sorrow. What is a Stage 9 Imperial Realm? That's the king of cultivators, revered by everyone. Some cultivators have good stuff but don't give it to others. Some big factions don't try to rope them in. Do they have to worry about cultivation techniques? I heard from my father that Stage 9 cultivation techniques are actually combat techniques. It has little to do with cultivation. I'm not sure about the specifics, said Jiang Yu. Alright, I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. What the heavenly monarchs worry about is the improvement of their realm. This step is too difficult. Some old heavenly monarchs have lived for hundreds of millions of years and are tired of living. In the end, their nascent soul collapses and perishes. Jiang Yu sighed. This was the sorrow of cultivators and experts. Nascent soul collapses? Night Sorrow looked at Jiang Yu in surprise. Yes. After living for countless years and not being able to make a sudden breakthrough, they don't even believe in themselves. Every day they are muddle-headed and have no direction. After a long time, their mental state will naturally be covered in dust and perish. Such things happen from time to time. In the celestial realm, there are many such heavenly monarchs, said Jiang Yu. This is also very sad. Night Sorrow nodded. Such people are also the scariest. They are stuck at a bottleneck for countless years. Although they can't break through, they can comprehend other things by analogy and have many absolute arts. They can even fight against early thearchs. When their Tao heart is unstable, they will go crazy and act without thinking of the consequences. No one is willing to provoke such a lunatic, even if they are Emperor Realm cultivators. Jiang Yu explained to Night Sorrow once again. I understand now. If there is anything you need to refine, come and find me. I will not refuse if I can do it. Night Sorrow nodded at Jiang Yu. He knew very well that Jiang Yu and Gong Xianyu were not the same kind of people. At the very least, Jiang Yu knew how to treat others with sincerity. All right. Work hard to accumulate wealth, and then set up a shop. Only then will you have a foothold in the ethereal imperial city. Jiang Yu stood up and reminded Night Sorrow. After sending Jiang Yu off, another guest came. However, Night Sorrow couldn't see through this guest's aura. An Imperial Realm cultivator. Night Sorrow knew that this person was an Imperial Realm giant. His face was very young and looked to be around 27 or 28 years old. Lu Yun, receive the others first. Sir, please take a seat, Night Sorrow said. You must be Celestial Master Yi. It's like this, I have an armor that was damaged in a battle. I've looked for many people, including even Imperial Masters, but they couldn't repair it. The main reason is that this armor isn't mainstream. It's a strange type of armor. A few days ago, I saw one of your works and felt that your technique and way of thinking were a little different, so I came to try my luck, the man said after sitting down. Sir, you think too highly of me. If even the Imperial Preceptor can't fix it, I, a heavenly adept artificer, naturally can't fix it either, Night Sorrow said. Don't worry, I'm just here to try my luck. Actually, this armor isn't very useful to me now, but it's been with me since I was weak, so I'm a little reluctant to part with it. Take it and have a look. It's best if it works, but it's fine if it doesn't. After saying that, the man took out a silver armor and reached out to touch it with regret in his eyes. Then the man handed the armor to Night Sorrow. Holding the armor, Night Sorrow began to inspect it with his soul power. After inspecting it for a while, Night Sorrow found that this was a very special armor. It was covered with spirit-dispersing arrays, which meant that a large part of the energy attack would dissipate when it hit the armor. In addition, there were also some very special arrays that could gather energy. The gathered energy was the same as Night Sorrow's true chi energy, which was void energy. There was a hole in the chest of the armor that broke the array. If he wanted to repair it, he would have to repair it and then reconnect the array. To do this, he would need to deduce an energy inspection to restore the array circuit to its original state. In addition, Night Sorrow also found an artifact spirit. However, because it was severely injured, the artifact spirit had turned into a ball of energy and should be in a dormant state. This armor is very special. It has a very strong energy defense, but its weak point is material defense. The spirit dispersing array is a special feature. Its strongest point should be that the array inside it can produce void energy, which can annihilate some of the energy that attacks the body. However, now that it has been damaged, most of the arrays have stopped operating, and the artifact spirit has also fallen into a dormant state. Night Sorrow said his conclusion. It seems that your reputation is not just for show. If you want to repair it, you will need to deduce and use your soul power to inspect it. However, if the energy you pour in is weak, it will be annihilated by the spirit dispersing array and the array inside the armor. If the energy you pour in is too strong, it will be beyond what the armor can withstand. Then the armor will be damaged even more. Do you have a way to repair it? The man looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Materials? Materials? I'm inexperienced, so I don't know what materials were used to make this armor, but I'm sure it's a treasure that contains void energy. Special materials and a powerful spirit dispersing formation have formed an extremely strong energy defense. If you want to repair it, you'll need materials like this. I don't even know the materials, so I can't do anything. I'm very sorry. Night Sorrow pushed the armor back to the man. Your analysis is very accurate. The material used to make this armor is Void Star Core Iron. It is a product of the space world's core. It can only be obtained during the Great Destruction of Space. Back then, my father paid a huge price to refine this armor. Originally, it could have been directly refined into an Emperor tier armor, but at that time, my cultivation level was low, so I refined a defensive armor that could grow. I still have some Nihility Star Core Iron left. If I give you some Nihility Star Core Iron, can you repair it? The man looked at Night Sorrow with eyes full of hope and desire. I can try. I can guarantee that the armor won't be damaged, but the results are hard to say. If there is a problem, please don't blame me, sir, Night Sorrow said. $1 long? Hashtag free 3. Fee QCO% little. Say unspecified currency 7. It's good that there is hope. Tell me, what do you want in return? The man stood up. His eyes didn't leave Night Sorrow. I am a heavenly monarch. What I want is an emperor-grade cultivation technique. I wonder if sir can help me? Night Sorrow looked at the man in front of him and asked. The man turned his head and looked to the other side. After thinking for a while, he looked at Night Sorrow again. I can't give you the cultivation technique that I am cultivating because it is passed down in my family. However, I have obtained a cultivation technique when I was training in the past. Although the level is a little low and can only increase one's cultivation, it can be used as a reference. Since you can enter the Emperor grade, it can help you cultivate. With this foundation, you can go and look for a better cultivation technique. Alright. Then it's settled. Leave the armor here. We will know the result in a month's time. Whether it works or not, we will know, Night Sorrow said. Then it's settled. You don't have to call me sir. My name is Wufeng. You can just call me Brother Wufeng, Qin Wufeng said. Chapter 1545. Wufeng turned his head and looked at Heaven Lord Lin Mu. His eyes shot out a strong light, making Heaven Lord Lin Mu, who was already unsteady, take a few steps back. Withdrawing his gaze, Edgeless nodded at Yi Shang, and took out 2 pieces of silver-purple ore. There are only 2 pieces left. Take them and study them. Then Wufeng turned and left Treasure-Seeking Street. He's an Emperor Realm cultivator, but it's rare for him to care so much about the armor. Night Sorrow said. That's Emperor Wufeng. He's famous. Heaven Lord Lin Mu came to Night Sorrow's side. His face was full of shock. He still hadn't recovered from the shock. Emperor Realm? Night Sorrow looked at Lin Mu. He felt that Lin Mu should know more about Emperor Wufeng. Yes, he's an Emperor Realm cultivator. There's an Emperor Wufeng mansion in our ethereal imperial city. It has nothing to do with the 7 mansions. No one from the 7 mansions dared to provoke him. I don't know much about him, but when he was in the Emperor Realm, he had the strength to fight against an Emperor Realm cultivator. His name is his title. He has an edgeless sword that no one in the same realm could touch. Looks like he's very strong. But that's not important. Let's see if we can refine it well. Night Sorrow smiled. He had a good impression of Wufeng. Night Sorrow was very easygoing. From his attitude toward the armor, it could be seen that Wufeng was a very affectionate person. Heaven Master Night Sorrow, please don't destroy his armor. Repair it conservatively. Heaven Lord Lin Mu reminded Night Sorrow. He was afraid that Night Sorrow would destroy the armor and Wufeng would be angry. After returning to his residence, Night Sorrow entered the Dragon Cauldron to study Wufeng's armor. He had to understand it before he could repair it. Because they were of the same origin, Night Sorrow's soul power was of the Void attribute. It was the purest. Therefore, the energy from the Void Star Core Iron couldn't harm Night Sorrow's soul power. Instead, it was suppressed by Night Sorrow's soul power. Yi Shang's soul power wandered within the armor, analyzing the structure of the array formation. As long as he could understand it, he would be able to repair the array formation within the armor. As he probed and studied, the circuits of the formation inside the armor appeared in Yi Shang's mind like a dense spiderweb. Time passed, and Night Sorrow studied it for 5 days. Night Sorrow had only understood a part of the array. After coming out of the Dragon Cauldron, Night Sorrow, Lu Yun and Lu Yun continued to set. Seeing Yi Shang's arrival, many stall owners nodded in greeting. Night Sorrow's appearance spurred the pill business in Treasure-Seeking Street. Everyone lowered the cost of refining pills and the price of pills. However, with more customers, the income wasn't bad. Ordinary pills couldn't be refined by Night Sorrow. There was no queue. Every stall owner had their own business. These stall owners were very envious of Night Sorrow. He lived a carefree life. When it was dark, he would pack up and leave. He wouldn't take any customers. After Night Sorrow received an order, He began refining in the back hall. Jiang Yu came over to take a look when he had nothing to do. Night Sorrow had Lu Yin receive him. Fortunately, Jiang Yu wasn't too arrogant. He drank some tea and left after a while. The days passed peacefully. However, Night Sorrow discovered some problems. People were watching him. They didn't refine pills or tools. They just wandered around his shop. Half a month passed. Night Sorrow studied Wu Feng's armor in the Dragon Cauldron for more than 2 months. Night Sorrow told Lu Yin that he was busy for a few days. If he didn't show up, he wouldn't take any orders. Night Sorrow wanted to officially repair Wu Feng's armor. If he couldn't stop halfway, he wouldn't take any orders. Yi Shang already had a thorough understanding of the formation of the armor. During this period of time, his cultivation in formations had increased by a lot as he studied the armor. He had also finished outlining the part of the formation that needed to be repaired in his mind. He melted the Void Star core iron, condensed it, and then repaired it. Before the material cooled down, he repaired the missing parts of the armor. Then, he started to outline the array formation diagram. Night Sorrow already had an idea of the array formation diagram. However, it was very complicated. That small area had to accommodate hundreds of array formations. It also had to be perfectly connected to the other areas of the armor. It was extremely difficult. Night Sorrow kept the repair part of the armor from cooling down. Then, he continued to draw the array formation diagram and the array formation diagram. This wasn't a small project. If Night Sorrow had refined a monarch weapon himself, it wouldn't have been so troublesome. The way he drew the array formation diagram was as smooth as flowing water. Right now, he was repairing and connecting the array formation. Night Sorrow didn't even know how many lines he needed to connect. Every time he finished drawing the array formation diagram and connecting the array formation diagram, Night Sorrow would complete it and make sure the array formation was smooth. Time slowly slipped away. The array formation in the empty areas of the armor became more and more complete. However, Night Sorrow purposely controlled the critical lines to not connect because once the array was activated, it would be very difficult to repair. 5 days later, Night Sorrow finished repairing the damaged areas of the armor. Then he connected the critical areas of each array formation and activated it. As all the arrays were connected and activated, the armor glowed with light. It was obvious that it was no ordinary item. In truth, Night Sorrow knew that this armor was no longer an armor of the same tier. He didn't know what tier it had been in the past, but it had already crossed the threshold, and was now an Emperor armament. However, Night Sorrow knew that while he was repairing an Emperor armament, he couldn't refine it. If he had to refine the array formation from start to finish, his spiritual energy and pill flame wouldn't be able to handle it. Holding the glowing armor, Night Sorrow returned to the real world. He took a bath and rushed to the stall. Lu Yin wasn't in the courtyard. When he arrived at the stall, Night Sorrow saw many people waiting. They all wanted to ask Night Sorrow to refine pills, weapons, and armor. Night Sorrow saw 2 familiar faces in the line. They were the people who had once watched him. One of them was at the front of the line and wanted to refine a saber. After thinking for a moment, Night Sorrow decided to accept because the person had a number plate and was at the front of the line. After collecting the fee and receiving the request, Night Sorrow began to refine. A saber was nothing to him. The days went by smoothly, and Night Sorrow accepted 2 orders. If it was a complicated one, he would take one. The 1-month deadline with Wu Feng drew closer and closer. However, Night Sorrow also ran into trouble. 2 customers who had refined Night Sorrow's saber came looking for him, saying that Night Sorrow's saber was trash, and that it was a lie. Night Sorrow lowered his head and pondered. These 2 were the people who had been watching him for the past few days. While Night Sorrow was pondering how to deal with this problem, Jiang Yu and Gong Xian arrived. Gong Xian was accompanied by Ghost Monkey. You said that your saber is of high quality, but it's just for show. An old man in luxurious clothes held a saber as he spoke. He was the first person to refine a saber after Night Sorrow had finished repairing Wu Feng's armor. Go. I don't know. How did I offend the 2 of you? You were watching me first, but now you've come looking for trouble. If you have something to say, just say it. Night Sorrow raised his head and looked across the street at the azure-robed Wu Feng. Speak. First update. Chapter 1546. Wu Feng nodded at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow turned his head to look at the old man in luxurious clothes. He knew that there were some things that had to be resolved today. The item you refined isn't good enough, so you have to compensate me. Otherwise, don't blame me for ruining your reputation, said the old man in luxurious clothes. Fellow Taoist, why are you so aggressive? Isn't there another way to resolve this matter? Gong Xianyu stepped forward and said, So it's Miss Gong. I will definitely give face to Miss Gong, but he has to give an explanation, said the old man in luxurious clothes after glancing at Night Sorrow. That's right. We can give face to Miss Gong, but you have to give us an explanation, said another middle-aged man. Haha, there's no need for that. You don't have to give face to anyone. If you say that my item isn't good, then let the facts speak for themselves. However, I have to make it clear in advance. If the facts prove that you're looking for trouble, then I won't let it go. Yi Shang took a deep breath and shook his head helplessly. He had a pretty good idea of what had happened. If you're looking for trouble, then I'll deal with it, said Jiang Yu. There's no need for Miss Jiang to step in. This is the territory of Tsanglan Manor. If there's no problem with my item and someone is looking for trouble, then I'll fight back. It's not considered causing trouble in the city, right? Night Sorrow looked at Jiang Yu. Of course not. Jiang Yu nodded. All right. Thank you, Miss Jiang. Since the two of you said that my item is trash, why don't you prove it? Night Sorrow looked at the two men who were looking for trouble. We're giving you a way out. Since you're so shameless, don't blame us for being rude. This is the saber you refined. The man raised his hand and slapped the saber in half. Haha, I'm shameless? Now you don't have any face even if you want to. Fellow Taoist, and that? I remember that the weapons in your hands were refined by me, right? Night Sorrow looked at the onlookers and said, My weapon was refined by Celestial Master Yi, but I didn't find any problems with it. A middle-aged woman stepped forward. Lend me your weapon. Night Sorrow nodded at the middle-aged woman. The middle-aged woman took out the sword and handed it to Night Sorrow. The weapons I forge have markings on them. Of course, those who aren't observant won't be able to discover them. I've thought about it before. Night Sorrow flicked the hilt of the sword with his finger, and the hilt of the sword glowed with light. The light rays arranged themselves in an orderly manner, forming the character Night. At this moment, everyone looked at the two men who were looking for trouble. The two men were also stunned. They didn't expect Night Sorrow to have such a trump card. There's no array on the handles of your weapons. You want to cause trouble, but you don't have a brain. What kind of trick does your master want to play with me? He's in the wrong place. Night Sorrow reached out and pulled out Splitter from his back. Then he used Space Revolving Dragon Kill. Before the old man could react, Splitter pierced through his dantian and abdomen. Then, with a flick and a stab, the old man's head was cut open. It was fine if he didn't move, but when he did, he was like a thunderbolt. Once he attacked, he would kill. The other man ran away in a flash. He naturally understood that today's matter could not be resolved peacefully. Escaping was the way to go. Night Sorrow got up and chased after him. However, he stopped after a few steps because there was already an outcome. Watch it for free for a long time. Wu Feng, who was standing on the opposite side of the street, drew a circle with his right hand and trapped the escaping man. Then he casually punched with his right hand, and the imprisoned man immediately exploded. With a casual move, this heaven monarch was killed. Wu Feng raised his left hand and coughed. If you don't want to live, then die. Seeing Wu Feng walk over, Jiang Yu and Gong Xianyu bowed. You're here. Night Sorrow nodded at Wu Feng. Yes, that move was beautiful. Wu Feng finished speaking and walked to the back of the stall. Sorry for the lack of hospitality. Also, don't worry, everyone. The things I forge are worthy of my conscience. Elixirs are for eating, not playing with. Weapons and armor are closely related to a cultivator's life. I won't joke about it. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at the group of people, and then instructed Lu Yin to take orders according to the order. After making the arrangements, Night Sorrow nodded at Jiang Yu and glanced at Gong Xianyu before entering the back of the stall. I'm just here for a walk today. Don't feel pressured and don't think about a month, Wu Feng said to Night Sorrow. My lord values that armor very much. I understand that very well. Naturally, I can't ignore it. Knight Sorrow took the tea set and poured a pot of tea. Then he took out the armor and placed it on the table in front of Wufeng. Seeing the shining armor, Wufeng stood up and reached out to touch it. His eyes were filled with shock. The old celestial master who forged this armor was in bad condition back then, so I didn't want to trouble him to repair it. When his nascent soul collapsed and he died, I thought there was no hope. I didn't expect you to be able to restore it to its original state. Looking at the energy, it seems there's still room for improvement, Wufeng said. He was clearly surprised by this result. My lord, it's good that you're satisfied. There's still some Nihility Star Core iron left. Knight Sorrow took out the remaining Nihility Star Core iron and placed it in front of Wufeng. Wufeng didn't take back the materials. Instead, he focused all his attention on the armor. The artifact spirit was injured back then and fell into hibernation. Now that the formation has been repaired and is operating again, it can naturally absorb energy to recover. It's just a matter of time, Knight Sorrow said. Very good. I can feel it. Beautiful, beautifully restored. Edgeless raised his head and looked at Knight Sorrow. My lord, it's good that you're satisfied, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. I told you last time that you could just call me Brother Wufeng. Although I'm only here to take a look, I've already prepared your reward. Wufeng took out a jade slip and handed it to Yishang. His way of addressing himself had also changed a little. Thank you for your help, Brother Wufeng. Knight Sorrow stood up and received the jade slip with both hands. This is the primordial chaos art. Its main purpose is to assist in cultivation. With detailed guidance, it's very good for your foundation. It's most suitable for you to use the primordial chaos art to build your foundation after entering the 9th rank. With a good foundation, you won't have to worry about not having a suitable cultivation art, Wufeng said to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow understands. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands at Wufeng. Knight Sorrow, a good name. You don't have to take any orders today. Let's go to a restaurant and have a drink. Wufeng was in a good mood. All right. Then I won't work today. I'll accompany Brother Wufeng for a drink. Knight Sorrow was also very happy that Wufeng was satisfied with the repaired armor. Knight Sorrow asked Wufeng to put away the Void Star Core iron. Wufeng only smiled and said that he would send Knight Sorrow off. All of this happened in a moment. Knight Sorrow and Wufeng came out. The onlookers had yet to disperse. Jiang Yu and Gong Xianyu were still there. I'm very sorry for today's incident, but thank you for your trust. Lu Yan took 2 orders today. I'll go out for a drink and come back to refine. Miss Jiang, I won't be receiving you today. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands at the onlookers. After giving some instructions to Lu Yan, he greeted Jiang Yu and ignored Gong Xianyu. At this time, Gong Xianyu's expression was very ugly. She naturally knew what was going on. Speak. The second update has arrived. Last night, both of my computer's hard drives crashed. Now I'm typing on my laptop, so it's slower. I still have to repair my computer. The afternoon update is set for 1 o'clock. Chapter 1547. Knight Sorrow's words made it clear that he knew someone was behind this. Knight Sorrow's attitude also made it clear. Gong Xian was very clear about this. He just didn't expose the matter. Knight Sorrow and Wufeng left Treasure Seeking Street and arrived at a restaurant. This restaurant looks good. Let's go here, Wufeng muttered and led Knight Sorrow into the restaurant. After calling the waiter and ordering a table of dishes, Wufeng led Knight Sorrow into a private room. Knight Sorrow, thank you very much for the armor. Let's not talk too much. Drink more later. Wufeng put his left hand in front of his mouth and coughed. Brother Wufeng, you're too polite. You paid for it too, Knight Sorrow said. However, he found it strange. A normal Emperor Realm cultivator would not cough. It's not the same. You don't know what this armor means to me. Let me tell you. I come from a big family, but I fell out with my family. This armor is a gift from my father, and it's also the only gift he has. With this armor, it's as if I can see my father's majestic back, supporting me to face all difficulties and opponents, Wufeng said in a low voice. I see. Brother Wufeng, you seem to have an old illness, Night Sorrow said. Yes, it happened a long time ago. I'm not afraid that you'll laugh at me. It's the result of a palm strike from my mother. Wu Feng laughed. It was a self-deprecating laugh. Night Sorrow did not know what to say because this might be a tragedy. Then, Wu Feng seemed to be muttering to himself. He told Night Sorrow some things. Perhaps the armor's repair had touched his heart. Wu Feng's mother was a member of a big family. His father was a lone cultivator, but his strength was shocking. When he first appeared, he was in the area of Wu Feng's mother's family. At that time, he was injured and had lost his memory. Later on, he married Wu Feng's mother. Wu Feng had been outstanding since he was young. However, he made a mistake. During a spar, he accidentally injured his uncle's son. As a result, his mother gave him a palm strike on the spot. Wu Feng's uncle was the heir of the family and held a high position in the family. This situation led to the family wanting to execute Wu Feng. My father, the man they called the Mad Devil, brought me out. It was a bitter battle. I survived, but my father was gone. He was drowned by them. Edgeless let out a sigh. I'm sorry for bringing up Brother Wu Feng's past. Night Sorrow poured a glass of wine for Wu Feng. This armor was made from materials that my father collected before he lost his memories. He also paid a huge price to get someone to make it for him. He understood the family's situation and didn't want me to stand out too much. So he only made armor that could protect me. He also gave me the name Wu Feng. Father didn't want me to stand out too much, Wu Feng said. Can I examine Brother Wu Feng? Night Sorrow asked. It's useless. My mother, who wanted to kill me, cultivated an extreme technique. Although my father blocked that palm strike, it still damaged my life essence. Wu Feng shook his head. Nothing is absolute. If you don't mind, I can help you take a look. Night Sorrow was somewhat insistent. Wu Feng's words had resonated with him. Haha, then I can't refuse your good intentions. Come. Wu Feng stretched out his arm. Night Sorrow placed 2 fingers on Wu Feng's wrist and began to examine him. Fierce and tyrannical, Wu Feng's true energy surged like a tidal wave. However, it didn't affect Night Sorrow's probing power. The tyrannical energy didn't harm Night Sorrow, but there was an extremely cold energy within it that attacked Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's probing power was instantly destroyed, but the cold energy didn't stop there. It flowed through Night Sorrow's fingers and entered his body. Night Sorrow's body surged with energy, resisting the invasion of the energy. Defeat. The power of desolates in Yi Shang's body was defeated. Suppress. At the critical moment, Night Sorrow used his virtuous invincible golden body. Following the appearance of a fierce and righteous golden light, the cold energy was forced out of Night Sorrow's body and dispersed. At this moment, Wu Feng stood up and looked at Night Sorrow in astonishment. Moments later, Wu Feng laughed. Haha, I almost tricked you. I forgot that you aren't in the Varch realm. The 2 alchemists who examined my body in the past were Thearka's tutors. Therefore, they could resist this energy, but a heavenly monarch couldn't. Fortunately, you were able to resist it. Otherwise, I would have made a grave mistake. What is it? Why is it so cold and sinister? Night Sorrow was also very shocked. It's my mother's family's absolute art. What was that just now? Virtuous light? Wu Feng looked at Night Sorrow, who had withdrawn his aura, and asked. I won't hide it from Brother Wu Feng. Yes, I have virtuous light. I also integrated it into my body tempering cultivation technique. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Haha, brother, you are so domineering. You killed that troublemaker with 1 shot today. That is also proof of your strength. Wu Feng laughed. Brother Wu Feng, the problem in your body is very serious. I can't solve it now. Night Sorrow shook his head. It's fine. You might be able to in the future because you can resist this cold energy. Don't mind my straightforwardness. Your cultivation is too low now. Wu Feng was in high spirits. What's wrong with that? If I can't, then I can't. Night Sorrow said. After drinking, Night Sorrow and Wu Feng separated. Night Sorrow returned to Treasure-Seeking Street to continue accepting refining missions. Gong Xianmoon was gone, but Jiang Yu was still there. Heavenly Master Knight, you are good. You actually managed to repair Monarch Wu Feng's armor. It seems you have hidden your refining skills well. Jiang Yu looked at Night Sorrow and said, I was just lucky and happened to repair it, Night Sorrow said. Monarch Wu Feng's appearance today caused those troublemakers to have no end. I wonder if that idiot will continue to do something, Jiang Yu said. It seems you know what to do. Night Sorrow poured Jiang Yu a cup of wine. Yes, she is a B***tch. There is nothing she won't do. She has embarrassed the 7 prefectures. Jiang Yu's eyes were full of disdain. It seems her character is bad. Night Sorrow nodded. Not only is her character bad, but she is also promiscuous. Jiang Yu spat out a few more words. Night Sorrow turned to look at Jiang Yu. She didn't expect Jiang Yu to have such an evaluation of Gong Xian Moon. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Do you think I'm slandering her? You can hook your finger, and she might be waiting for you on your bed. You can do whatever you want. One of my guards was seduced by her just like that. However, I don't rely on bullying. You know what I mean. Jiang Yu made a gesture. You guys are born into a good family. You can play whatever you want. I just want to live a quiet life. Night Sorrow said helplessly. Chapter 1548. That's not appropriate. Not only will I embarrass myself, but your reputation will also be damaged, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Haha. You're right, but don't worry. If you don't submit, she can't do anything to you, Jiang Yu said with a smile. Ethereal Imperial City still had its rules. Not everyone could do whatever they wanted. Jiang Yu didn't ask about the matter between Night Sorrow and Wu Feng, because it was a private matter. It wasn't appropriate for her to ask about Wu Feng's matters. Night Sorrow packed up his stall, while Jiang Yu watched from the side. Miss Jiang, let's have tea together when you have time, Night Sorrow said to Jiang Yu after he finished packing up. Okay, I'll come over tomorrow. Also, I have to remind you again that there are many women in the world. Don't let a moment of pleasure cause you to be doomed eternally. Jiang Yu glanced at Night Sorrow before leaving the stall. Night Sorrow smiled helplessly. Jiang Yu was a straightforward person. She said whatever came to her mind. Her personality was very similar to Yang Lei's. She wasn't shy at all. Night Sorrow walked in front while Lu Yun followed behind. The two bought some food and wine before returning to the side courtyard. At this moment, in a mansion near Guanyue Prefecture, Gong Xianyu's face was gloomy. This guy is so daring. He guessed that he was one of us and still tried to kill him. Gong Xianyu's face was full of frost. I'll find an opportunity to kill him, Ghost Monkey said. Don't rush. Let's observe the situation first. In short, we can't let that little bitch Jiang Yu recruit him, Gong Xianyu said. He went drinking with Monarch Wu Feng today. Will there be any changes? Ghost Monkey asked worriedly. You're overthinking it. Monarch Wu Feng is a person who can't do anything, let alone a heavenly monarch. It's impossible for them to have any entanglements with each other. It won't affect anything. I must teach this guy a lesson. It's mainly because that bitch Jiang Yu is in the way. She's never seen a man before and keeps making waves. Gong Xian cursed. After that, Gong Xian decided to visit Night Sorrow's courtyard. She didn't believe that a native without any foundation like Night Sorrow could withstand her pressure. Emperor Wu Feng had appeared during the day, so she couldn't force her way in. While Night Sorrow and Lu Yun were drinking and chatting, the month of Gong Xian arrived. She entered Night Sorrow's courtyard by herself. As for the ghost monkey, he was waiting in the shadows. Lu Yun, go out and buy some good wine. Night Sorrow nodded to Lu Yun and sent him away. I'm here. Don't you welcome me? Luo Xiao waved her hand and swept the chair. Gong Xian Moon sat across from Night Sorrow. XJ, do you think I welcome you or not? Night Sorrow poured himself a glass of wine. Haha. It seems like you have a deep opinion of me. I admit that I was the one who sent the ghost monkey that day. The two people who died today were also my subordinates. It's actually nothing. I just want you to join my moon-gazing manor and work for my Gong family. I won't treat you badly either. You can have whatever you want. As long as you want it, I'll find a way to solve it, Gong Xian Moon said. Haha. I'm sorry, but that's not what I want. Please don't force me, Night Sorrow said. He was surprised that Gong Xianmun would be so direct. You can have whatever you want. Can't I? Gong Xianmun stood up and pressed her hands on the table. She leaned forward and looked at Night Sorrow, her chest surging intensely. Please have some self-respect. Go back. I'll pretend you weren't here. Night Sorrow stood up. He didn't like being looked down upon. You really don't understand things. Since you want to make trouble, I'll accompany you. Emperor Wufeng will protect you? You're thinking too much. Gong Xianmun stood up straight and snorted coldly. I've never wanted anyone to protect me, and I don't need it. I won't see you out. Night Sorrow didn't care about Gong Xianmun's threat. After Gong Xianmun left, Night Sorrow fell into deep thought. It was better to offend a gentleman than a villain. Gong Xianmun was a villain, and she was also the little princess of a manor. She had a lot of power and was troublesome. However, it was impossible for Night Sorrow to compromise. That would be humiliating. As for women, Gong Xianmun was very beautiful and sexy. However, Night Sorrow was a man of integrity. He also felt that Gong Xianmun was dirty in human nature. He felt that any of his wives were more seductive than her. Thinking of this, Night Sorrow smiled. He felt very blessed. Lu Yun returned after Gong Xianmun and Ghost Monkey left. Of course, she had also bought wine. She knew that Night Sorrow liked good wine. She didn't come for anything good, did she? Lu Yun opened a jar of wine and poured Night Sorrow a cup. She's not a good person. How could she be a good person? She can do whatever she wants. We'll live our lives as usual. Night Sorrow didn't care about today's matters at all. If it doesn't work, young master can just close the shop and refuse to see customers, Lu Yun said. There's no need. You don't have to worry. Night Sorrow shook his head at Lu Yun. Following that, Night Sorrow told Lu Yun that he would be away for 2 days. During these 2 days, he wouldn't accept any orders. He had accumulated a lot of materials during this time, and it wasn't safe to bring them with him. Sending them back to Star Moon Lake was a good choice. After informing Lu Yun, Yi Shang left the courtyard. He took a teleportation array and left Ethereal Imperial City. He wanted to see how things had developed over the past 2 months. He wanted to see how things had developed at Star Moon Lake. Although there was a teleportation array, it was still a long way from Ethereal Imperial City to Greenwater City, and then to Star Moon Lake. After teleporting for a while, Night Sorrow arrived at Greenwater City. After leaving Greenwater City, Night Sorrow set up a teleportation array 20,000 miles away from Greenwater City. Then he used an illusion array to hide it. This way, when he reached Star Moon Lake, he could set up a teleportation array to connect to it. It would be convenient for him to return to Ethereal Imperial City. When he arrived at Star Moon Island, Night Sorrow discovered that the central area of the island had changed. There were green mountains and clear waters, and a lake in the middle of the island. The scenery was pleasant. The City Lord's mansion had been built. It was a rather impressive 3-story building. When Night Sorrow returned, someone immediately came to welcome him. When he saw his wife, Datura, Night Sorrow smiled. You're back. How is this place? I don't think it's a commercial city, so it's mainly built to be habitable. Datura said. Sure. Night Sorrow nodded. He didn't have any objections. That's your place. It should be where our house is. The craftsman came by Night Moon. Datura pointed into the distance. Although he couldn't see it with his eyes, Night Sorrow's soul force was strong. He immediately probed it. It was an area filled with green trees and vines. There were also several buildings inside. Very good. It's very artistic. Very tasteful. Night Sorrow was quite satisfied. In the completed City Lord's mansion, Night Sorrow discussed the situation with everyone. He also took out the inheritance of alchemy and blacksmithing. Domain Lord, it's better for you to take care of Tier 9 items. It's useless for us. Tang Jianfeng said. That's fine. This time, I'm here to return some of the more precious resources. Night Sorrow said. Then everyone chatted. Night Sorrow told them about his situation in Ethereal Imperial City. Chapter 1549. Aluo, there's still danger, Night Sorrow said. Doppelganger, it doesn't matter. The main thing is that I want to be by your side when you're fighting. Datira didn't care that there were other people in the city lord's mansion, and directly spoke his mind. That's fine too. Knight Sorrow nodded. He didn't want to disappoint Mandala. Something happened. If something happened, he could shoulder it. As long as he was alive, he would protect Datira's safety. Knight Sorrow's original body came out of seclusion and received the resources that Knight Sorrow brought back. Then he and Datira returned to their new home, which was actually a manor. The manor was located in the best place on Star Moon Island. The scenery was beautiful and grand, and the pavilions were all very unique. Aluo, you spent a lot of effort on this place. It wasn't easy to build it, Knight Sorrow said after taking a look. Star Moon Island is the base of our primal chaos realm in the celestial realm. What's the signboard here? One is the city lord's mansion, and the other is the residence of the domain lord, Datira said. Knight Sorrow didn't refute. He really did need a stable residence. While drinking tea and chatting, Knight Sorrow asked Datira's original body to come over as well. There shouldn't be a problem with the safety of this place. This way, both of their original bodies could cultivate together in the Haotian Godly Pagoda. With the Haotian Godly Pagoda, Knight Sorrow's cultivation and strength improved by leaps and bounds. When his doppelganger went out for a few months, his original body would cultivate for dozens of years. In addition, the Haotian Godly Pagoda had the ability to seize the fortune of heaven and earth. When cultivating inside, not only would time accelerate, it could also clear the soul of the person cultivating inside. The secondary body had the ability to accelerate time by 50 times, but it wasn't as good at seizing the fortune of heaven and earth. There was a fundamental difference. At this time, Knight Sorrow's will of spacetime had already reached the level 8 king realm. His comprehension of the will of destruction had also reached 30%. After chatting with Datira for a while, Knight Sorrow took the teleportation array to the city in the sky. After seeing his other wives, parents, and children, he returned to Star Moon Island. After his original body entered the Haotian Godly Pagoda to cultivate, his doppelganger took Datira's doppelganger and left Star Moon Island. While flying with Datira, Knight Sorrow turned his head to look at Datira's beautiful face. I'm really worried about bringing you out. I'm afraid that other people will have other thoughts. I'll just wear a veil when the time comes, Datira said as she hugged Knight Sorrow's arm. Then I'll help you refine something that isolates you from detection. Knight Sorrow said. He had suitable materials in his hands. He had some level 8 ice silk. After arriving at Misty Imperial City, Knight Sorrow took Datira to his small courtyard. Although it's a bit small, it's not bad, Datira said with a smile after entering the courtyard. Young master is back. It was already night time, and Lu Yin had already returned from the stall. Lu Yin, let me introduce you. This is my wife Aluo. Aluo, this is Lu Yin. She's now my assistant in the stall. Knight Sorrow introduced both parties. Lu Yin greets Madam. Lu Yin bowed to Datira. She was very shocked. She thought that a young master like Knight Sorrow would have a beautiful wife, but Datira's appearance still shocked her. Don't be too polite. It's been hard on you during this period. Datira nodded. Then Knight Sorrow entered the 8-dragon cauldron and spent the night refining a veil. If one wasn't an Emperor Realm cultivator, they wouldn't be able to see Datira's appearance. In the morning, the three of them arrived at the shop. Lin Mu and the others were surprised to see Knight Sorrow bringing a woman. Knight Sorrow introduced her as his wife, and everyone greeted her. Knight Sorrow was already respected in this area. In addition, Datira was also a heaven monarch. His aura had already surpassed the heaven monarch realm. Everyone knew that he was an expert. This time, it was Datira who sat at the front to receive customers who wanted to refine weapons and elixirs. After Jiang Yu arrived, she was stunned for a moment because the reception had changed. You are. Jiang Yu looked at Datira who was wearing a veil and asked. Young lady Jiang, this is young master's wife. Madam, this is young master's friend, young lady Jiang. Lu Yin introduced both parties. Datira and Jiang Yu nodded at each other. Both of them were arrogant. Jiang Yu was the little princess of one of the 7 prefectures. She had a noble status, and wouldn't even lower her head when meeting an emperor. As for Datira, he had ruled over a region for countless years, and had the aura of a king. It was even said that it had nothing to do with cultivation. Not to mention cultivation, just the aura on his body was very intimidating. At this moment, Knight Sorrow finished refining a cauldron of elixirs and came out. Young Lady Jiang is here. Come in and have some tea. Knight Sorrow said to Jiang Yu. Knight Sorrow brought Jiang Yu and Datira to the back hall, and brewed a pot of tea. Young Lady Jiang, this is my wife, so she is also your friend. You don't have to be too formal. Aluo, this is young Lady Jiang whom I am more familiar with. Knight Sorrow introduced her solemnly. Jiang Yu looked at Datira. Madam Yi, why are you wearing a veil? Knight Sorrow is worried that I am too eye-catching. Datira reached out and took off the veil. Celestial Master Yi is right. You are too beautiful. Coupled with your temperament and figure, you are indeed too eye-catching. Jiang Yu said with a smile. She had imagined that Datira's face under the veil would be beautiful, but she didn't expect it to be a beauty that could topple cities. Young Lady Jiang is joking. Datira said with a smile. To look at LC edition, our chapter T above 7. 1-inch toppling cities with a smile. Celestial Master Yi. I take back what I said to you that day. With such a wife, it is useless to tempt you during the Gongxian month. Jiang Yu said. Hee, but Knight Sorrow understands your good intentions. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Your name is Knight Sorrow. What a good name. I only knew Celestial Master Yi in the past, but I didn't know your name. Your hometown is really full of outstanding people. You and your wife are so outstanding. Jiang Yu said with a smile. Young Lady Jiang is too kind. Datira said. After inviting Knight Sorrow and Datira to the Jiang residence, Jiang Yu left. This is a good friend. Datira said. It's all right. He doesn't have any petty heart. Knight Sorrow said his evaluation of Jiang Yu. While the two were talking, guests arrived outside. Datira also put on a veil. She didn't want to cause any trouble. She wasn't afraid of trouble, but this was ethereal imperial city, a place full of experts. In addition, she didn't want to cause trouble for Knight Sorrow. The two came out from the back hall, and saw a young man in embroidered clothes. He stood in front of the stall with a few guards and said something to Lu Yun. Young master, madam, this guest wants to refine armor, but he has a lot of requests. Lu Yun said. He has a lot of requests. If we can't do it, we won't accept it. Please ask this young master to look elsewhere. Knight Sorrow said. After coming out and seeing the situation, Knight Sorrow knew what was going on. The troublemaker was Gongxian because Gongxian and Ghost Monkey were on the second floor of the restaurant across the street. Chapter 1550. Just because you said you won't take it, you think you're doing business? The man in the brocade robe asked. Yes, I said I won't take it. I'm doing business, but I don't care about other people's feelings. Knight Sorrow looked at the man in the brocade robe and said, I'm Yang Yu of the Sky Sun Mansion, and I want to refine an armor here. I'm giving you face, so you have to accept it. Yang Yu looked coldly at Knight Sorrow. I'm sorry, I've never heard of you, so you don't have any face here. Knight Sorrow shook his head. Since he was looking for trouble, he didn't need to be polite. You want to die? Let me tell you. Offending me won't end well. Or you can bring your 2 women back for me to play with. You were disrespectful just now, but I won't take it to heart. Yang Yu's gaze landed on Datira. Bring all the women in your family, your sisters, your wives, and whatever. Let my husband play with them first. Datira was furious. If this wasn't ethereal imperial city, she would have attacked directly. Yongjio 9 are free look 5B little M said. You're sharp-tongued. I like it. Haha. Yang Yu laughed. Scram. Knight Sorrow reached out and pulled out the space splitter spear from his back. Ethereal imperial city forbade fighting, but it was still very humane. If someone was looking for trouble, then the victim could attack if he felt that he was in the right. In a fight, no matter who had the upper hand, if they were caught by the patrol, then the guilty party would be beheaded. Otherwise, if a supremacy spat in the face of a sky lord or an emperor, the world would be in chaos. How dare you? You dare to fight with me? Young Yu glared at Night Sorrow and roared. What's wrong? This is the territory of the Tsonglan Manor. Are you bigger than the Tsonglan Manor, or the rules of ethereal imperial city? I'll ask you one more time. Are you going to scram or not? Night Sorrow's energy circulated. As long as Yang Yu said no, he would attack. Yang Yu, that's enough. Gong Xianyu came out. She knew that if she didn't make a move, then war would follow. Didn't you want to kill him? Yang Yu said as he hooked his arm around Gong Xian's shoulder. Hee, why are you in such a hurry? If the business fails, he'll have nothing to eat. Gong Xianmoon looked at Night Sorrow and said. She hated Night Sorrow now. She had washed herself clean and delivered herself to his door for him to pluck, but in the end, she was chased out of the door. Her face was slapped resoundingly. All of you stay here and watch. Whoever asks him to refine pills or weapons, remember them and kill them. Kid, you don't believe me? This young master has a lot of subordinates. It's fine to exchange their avatars for their lives. This young master can provide resources for those who lose their avatars to cultivate new ones. Is it simple? Ha! Yang Yu hugged Gong Xianyu's shoulder and left Night Sorrow's shop. Shameless villain. If you don't rely on your family, then you're trash. Datira said angrily. It's nothing. If there's business, then we'll do it. If there's no business, then we'll rest. Haha. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Night Heaven Master, you've offended someone. If you can't do it, then find another place to live. Lin Mu said. Don't be afraid. It's nothing. Night Sorrow said. Lin Mu nodded. At this moment, he understood that Night Sorrow had pride in his bones. He wouldn't compromise like this. Gong Xianyu and Yang Yu didn't leave. They went to the restaurant opposite Night Sorrow's shop to drink wine. Xianyu, why are you pulling me? So what if we smash his stall? Don't tell me you've taken a fancy to him? Ha. I don't mind. As long as you're happy, then we'll kill him. Yang Yu said with a smile. Yang Yu had a wife. Besides, even if he didn't, he wouldn't marry the promiscuous Gong Xianyu. Gong Xianyu naturally wouldn't marry Yang Yu because she wouldn't be valued. The two of them were just playing around and didn't want to get in each other's way. This young lady is doing this for your own good. That guy's fighting strength is very strong. If you fight, would it be worth it? Just let your subordinates deal with him slowly. Gong Xianyu said. All right, I'll listen to you. Slowly play him to death. He's just a piece of trash. Fighting with our 7 prefectures, he should look at himself first. Yang Yu scolded. There was no business. Other than the first business in the morning, no one else came. Because if someone wanted to refine pills, Yang Yu's dog paw would appear and chase them away with the Heavenly Sun Prefecture's token. Night Sorrow, how do you plan to deal with him? Datira asked Night Sorrow, who was drinking tea. Kill. I'll kill one a day until they don't provoke me anymore. Yi Shang put down the teacup in his hand. His words were very soft, but Mandela, who knew him well, knew that Yi Shang wanted to kill him. Young master, it's dangerous. Lu Yun's expression changed when she heard Night Sorrow's words. She was a slave and had heard a lot about the 7 prefectures in the slave market. However, Night Sorrow had already made his move. He waved his hand and threw out the sky-piercing spear that he hadn't used in a long time. The sky-piercing spear, supported by the will of space-time, instantly streaked across the sky and pierced through the head of one of Yang Yu's subordinates who was blocking a customer. This subordinate was only a monarch and didn't even have the chance to react. Night Sorrow's dragon tendon shook, and the sky-piercing spear spun around. The spearhead pierced the man's left hand and shattered it. The sky-piercing spear returned to Night Sorrow's side with the storage ring. Do you want to die? Yang Yu, who was standing in a restaurant on the opposite side of the street, shouted. Don't be angry with me. This is only the first. If you delay my business for a day, I'll kill one more. How do you want to fight? I'll accompany you. You want to bring people to kill me? Do you dare? Night Sorrow rinsed the storage ring he just obtained with tea and put it away. At this moment, the lively treasure-seeking street was dead silent. It was impossible to tell who was stronger now. Yang Yu and the others who bullied Night Sorrow were suppressed by Night Sorrow's aura. "I'll kill you." Yang Yu was furious. This was a slap in the face. Night Sorrow was slapping his face. He wanted to kill his people and kill one a day. However, Yang Yu was held back by Gong Xianyu. She was worried that Yang Yu wasn't a match for Night Sorrow. If something happened, it wouldn't be good for her. "If I'm afraid of you bunch of monsters, I wouldn't have come to the ethereal empire. Today I'll say this. I'll do my job well. Whoever dares to provoke me, I'll give it a try. Put away your cheap face. Lu Yun, pack up and go home." Night Sorrow said to Lu Yun. "Don't go home. Didn't we agree that I'll hold a welcoming dinner for Aluo today?" Jiang Yu appeared. "Sure." Night Sorrow nodded to Jiang Yu. Jiang Yu stood out now, which meant that he didn't want to stay out of this and wasn't afraid of trouble. Gong Xianyu's face turned pale. Night Sorrow was obviously scolding her when he said, "Put away your cheap face." Night Sorrow left with Datira and Lu Yun. Today, Jiang Yu was accompanied by 2 guards who were heaven monarchs. Chapter 1551. Celestial Master Knight is so domineering. I really couldn't tell. Jiang Yu, who had left Treasure Hunter Street, said, "There's no other way. They won't let me live." Night Sorrow said, "It's indeed difficult to deal with. Gong Xian is thick-skinned and doesn't care about his reputation. Secondly, he's unscrupulous." Jiang Yu glanced behind him and said, "I know that. When she left my place that day, I knew she wouldn't let it go." Night Sorrow said, "She went to your place?" Jiang Yu asked in surprise. "Yes, she brought Ghost Monkey with her. However, Ghost Monkey didn't show up. She went alone." Night Sorrow nodded. "Then she's there to deliver you meat." Jiang Yu said with a smile. "What meat?" Datira asked, puzzled. "Aluo, this is what you don't understand. She's looking for Yi Shang to give him her body. What else could it be?" Jiang Yu said with a laugh. "Aluo, don't look at me like that. I just chased her out." Night Sorrow said to Datira, who was looking at him with a pair of beautiful eyes. "You don't have the guts." Datira said. "Aluo, you're good at training your husband." Jiang Yu said to Datira, "That's not it. Night Sorrow is very self-disciplined. Besides, he has several wives at home. He's too busy to deal with them. He doesn't have the time to flirt with other women." Datira said, "It's to reassure you that I sent a clone out to explore." Night Sorrow said, "A clone of his strength is very fierce." Jiang Yu said after glancing at Night Sorrow. Although she had analyzed that Night Sorrow might be a clone, she couldn't be sure because she hadn't investigated it. Now that she was sure that Night Sorrow was a clone, Jiang Yu was very shocked because Night Sorrow killed a heaven monarch with one move that day. It was a demonstration of his strength. They didn't go to the Kanglan mansion mainly because Night Sorrow didn't like it. The 3 of them went to a restaurant. Jiang Yu treated Night Sorrow and Aluo to a meal. New fastest in previous $_ Lu Yun, have a seat. Aluo and I don't care about this. Miss Jiang doesn't mind it either. Night Sorrow, Lu Yun's tea mind. Young master, this is not appropriate. Lu Yun shook his head. It's nothing. There are no messy rules in our family. Miss Jiang, do you mind? Mandela asked Jiang Yu. I don't mind. This is what I admire about you guys. Jiang Yu said. He was speaking from the bottom of his heart because there was a difference in status between rich and powerful families. Servants had no status. But Yi Shang was very amiable with Lu Yun. She had seen it all. After a feast, they had to part. Jiang Yu looked at Night Sorrow and said, Tomorrow, I will send more people to Treasure-Seeking Street. If you have the confidence, then fight. If you don't, then bear with it. They are not in the right, and will not take the initiative to attack. Night Sorrow nodded. This was Jiang Yu's good intention. He couldn't reject it. After parting with Jiang Yu, Night Sorrow called for a beast carriage. The 3 of them sat in the beast carriage and headed to the side courtyard. Night Sorrow, as long as we have the confidence, we will fight. At most, we won't stay in Ethereal Imperial City. Take Lu Yun and let's go home. Datira said. It's fine. The Arch-Realm cultivators respect their status. If they are not in the right, they won't attack easily. Why should we be afraid if they are not in the Arch-Realm? I will kill as many as they come. Knight Sorrow shook his head. He wouldn't leave ethereal Imperial City. At this moment, in a very majestic mansion, Wu Feng was sitting in the main seat and listening to a servant's report. No class. There aren't many in the next generation of the 7 prefectures that can accomplish anything, Wu Feng muttered after hearing the report. Then what should I do? The servant bowed and asked. Take my message, Crystal. If no great emperors appear, don't worry about anything. If any great emperors appear, crush them. Go. Edgeless tossed a message crystal to his subordinate and disappeared from the hall. Wu Feng felt that he owed Knight Sorrow a favor. He also admired Knight Sorrow. So he sent people to Treasure-Seeking Street to watch. He already knew everything that happened today. But if no Arch-Realm cultivators appeared, he didn't want to interfere. Back in the courtyard, Knight Sorrow chatted with Datura. He took out the maps, letters, and notes he obtained for Datura. Since Datura was here, he had to understand this place. Datura studied the letters while Knight Sorrow went to refine pills. He had some ingredients that could be turned into Junyuan pills and Junhua pills. There were many King Realm cultivators in the 9-domain world. Junyuan pills were the best choice for cultivation. Of course, Junhua pills were better. After refining for an entire night, Yishang had refined quite a few pills. In the morning, while Knight Sorrow was washing up, Datura came to Knight Sorrow's side with a towel. Knight Sorrow, I plan to go to the God Devil Castle. If possible, I want to join. Knight Sorrow was stunned. Datura's decision surprised him. But then he felt that it was reasonable. Datura was also a person who wanted to improve. Sure, but don't force yourself. If you can join, then join. If you can't, then so be it. Knight Sorrow said. However, Datura planned to wait a few days. There would be a battle on Treasure-Seeking Street today. She wanted to accompany Knight Sorrow. Yang Yu was a domineering person. Now that he had suffered, he naturally wouldn't let it go. When Knight Sorrow, Datura, and Lu Yin arrived at Treasure-Seeking Street, it was already very lively. Knight Sorrow opened the door of his stall and started business. Lu Yin stood at the front while Knight Sorrow and Datura sat beside him. The two of them set up a small table and drank tea while chatting. Knight Sorrow discovered that there were many people in the restaurant opposite the stall. Many of them were unfamiliar faces. Yang Yu and Gong Xianmun were also there. Young master, there are many people here today, Lu Yin said worriedly. Most of them are here to watch the show. If they were also their people, they wouldn't have occupied such a good spot. This isn't something I can do, Knight Sorrow said. Datura nodded. Knight Sorrow's words made sense. The people in the restaurant were drinking and chatting as if they didn't see Gong Xianmun and Yang Yu. There was no one in front of the shop. One had to know that at this time, people would usually line up to ask Knight Sorrow to refine elixirs and weapons. Knight Sorrow knew that they had been chased away. Now there were 3 heavenly lords near Knight Sorrow's stall. At this time, there were people who came because of the reputation and didn't know the situation. They walked towards Knight Sorrow's shop. Yang Yu had instructed the people to intercept this situation. Of course, they couldn't just stand by and watch. An old man stopped a middle-aged man who was walking towards the stall. If you don't want to die, get lost. This place is not open for business. This sentence was like a stone that stirred up 1,000 ripples. Knight Sorrow moved. Chapter 1552. Yang Yu had already made his stance clear. He wanted to make sure that Knight Sorrow had no place to stand. Hence, he made a big fuss. Today, 3 heaven monarchs and a team of sovereigns were in charge of sealing off Knight Sorrow's shop. Knight Sorrow wanted to counterattack. Naturally, he didn't care about the opponent's cultivation level. Rushing out of the shop, Knight Sorrow executed the afterimage body. A few afterimages pounced on the other 2 heaven monarchs to stop them from helping. Then he executed the Great Death Destruction Slash with the space-splitting spear. After the Great Death Destruction Slash, he executed the Crescent Blade of the Soul Extermination Slash. The old man who was intercepting Night Sorrow's customers was alerted when Night Sorrow made his move. He took out his battle saber and slashed in the direction where Night Sorrow was coming from. The fiery red saber light was like a fire dragon as it rushed towards Night Sorrow. However, the same counterattack lost its effect when Night Sorrow's body flashed. At the same time, Night Sorrow's great death destruction slash produced a black halo that enveloped the old man's head. The crescent blade of the soul extermination slash also slashed towards his head. Night Sorrow had overestimated his opponent. Originally, he executed the soul extermination slash to disturb his opponent's soul spirit. However, his opponent was too weak. The crescent blade directly cut through the old man's soul spirit defense and cut into his divine sea. This was fatal. Moreover, Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear attack followed closely behind. Following the explosion, the old man's head was pierced through by Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear and exploded. A one-hit kill. Although the opponent was a heaven monarch, it didn't stop Night Sorrow's one-hit kill. Night Sorrow stretched out his left hand and used his energy to break the old man's left finger. He took the storage ring and waved the space-splitting spear. He then looked at the two heaven monarchs who destroyed his afterimages. The two heaven monarchs' faces changed. They held their weapons and looked at Night Sorrow. They were so shocked by the death of their companion that they forgot to attack. If you delay my business for a day, I'll kill one person. Lu Yin, pack up. If anyone dares to attack us, call the patrols and let them deal with them. Night Sorrow returned to his stall with the Void Splitter spear. Yes. Lu Yin nodded. She was very excited. What was domineering? This was domineering. Fellow Taoists, I'm still doing business. I'm here every day to receive everyone. I'll kill anyone who tries to stop me from doing business. As I said before, I'll kill one person for every day you delay my business. Just wait for me. Night Sorrow cupped his fists at the onlookers. No one moved, and Yang Yu did not give the order to attack. He did not dare to give the order to attack Night Sorrow. Because if Night Sorrow really called for the patrol team, then his men would be completely annihilated. The team that he personally brought with him was no match for the House of Azure Water's patrol team. If they could hold off one team, then a second team would quickly arrive. Pack up and leave. Night Sorrow left the stall with Datura and Lu Yun. He walked very confidently, as if he was not there to do business, but to kill someone. Applause. Applause rang out in Treasure-Seeking Street. These stall owners had relatively low statuses and did not have any backing. Therefore, they were often suppressed and bullied. Now that Night Sorrow had made a move and made a strong counterattack, he had helped everyone vent their anger. Night Sorrow left with his wife and servants. The onlookers knew that this was the end of the day. Night Sorrow's stall was packed up. Yang Yu wanted to stop the customers, but he could not. His face had already fallen to the ground. The crowd dispersed, and Treasure-Seeking Street returned to normal. Jiang Yu, who was also in the restaurant opposite Night Sorrow's stall, turned her head to look at Gong Xianyu and Yang Yu, then left with a smile. She had arranged for a large number of troops to be stationed at Treasure-Seeking Street today. If anyone attacked Night Sorrow would call the authorities and the patrols would immediately appear. Moreover, they would be very strong. This was also the reason why Gong Xianyu and Yang Yu did not continue to attack. They knew very well what was going on. After Night Sorrow left, the onlookers dispersed as well. The news was spread. Wu Feng smiled after hearing the report. Killing one a day. He has a very stubborn personality. There's no benefit in going against a cultivator of the body of merit. Emperor, the confrontation tomorrow will be even more intense. Sky Sun Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture will not allow themselves to lose face. I wonder if Night Sorrow will be able to withstand it, said the man in black. He was Wu Feng's personal attendant, Duan Yu. He has made his voice heard, but whether or not he can stand still depends on his strength. Even if I want to help him, I can only help him resist the pressure from the higher-ups. He'll have to deal with those below the Emperor realm himself, said Wu Feng. He had his own principles. An imperial emperor also had his dignity and integrity. Duan Yu nodded. He also understood this principle. After Night Sorrow left, Yang Yu and Gong Xianyu also left. The two of them went to a tea house to drink tea and discuss how to deal with the situation. Both of them had lost face today. Q update V new fastest S. XL he's very strong. It's very difficult for an ordinary person to deal with him. We have to hire an expert to kill him, even if it's just crippling him, said Gong Xianyu. I'll bring my guard commander tomorrow. I don't believe we can't kill him. Let's consider him lucky today and let him live one more day. Yang Yu's face was gloomy. He was one of the young masters of Sky Sun Prefecture, and could not afford to lose face like this. Gong Xianyu nodded. Then he agreed to meet Yang Yu here tomorrow and left with Ghost Monkey. After leaving the tea house, Gong Xianyu looked at Ghost Monkey and asked, Ghost Monkey, how confident are you in defeating him? It's hard to say, but I'm confident in myself. Ghost Monkey nodded. I don't know if Yang Yu can do it. We have to be prepared. If Yang Yu can't do it, we'll take action. Gong Xianyu said. She had to plan for both sides. After strolling around the streets, Night Sorrow and the other two returned to the villa. Night Sorrow, that mansion for sale is not bad, but it costs 1,000,000 Saint Spirit stones. That price is too terrifying. Datira, you said. When the three of them were shopping, they saw a mansion for sale, but the price was exorbitant. 1,000,000 Saint Spirit stones. We can afford it, but we haven't established a firm foothold yet. It's not safe to pay such a high price, said Night Sorrow. In order to establish a foothold in ethereal imperial city, wealth was one thing, but strength was also very important. Otherwise, it was normal to be killed or robbed. After resting for a night, Night Sorrow and the other two went to treasure-seeking street again. Difficulties were in front of them, but Night Sorrow was not a coward. It was his character to face difficulties head-on. There were many onlookers, even more than yesterday. The world of cultivators was like this. If something happened, it could not be hidden from others. No one stopped looking for Night Sorrow to concoct pills or refine equipment just because his store was being suppressed. No one was afraid. The people from Sky Sun Prefecture and Moon Gazing Prefecture would at most expel them. If they dared to kill them, the Azure Water Prefecture would not tolerate it. Night Sorrow's store opened. Just as everyone was waiting for Night Sorrow to start his killing spree, there was a change. A rather dispirited young man appeared with a blade in his hand. Yang Yu's subordinates went to stop him, but the young man simply swung his blade. Blade light flashed across the sky, and those who tried to stop him were cut in half by the dispirited young man. Chapter 1553. The man's hair was disheveled, and his aura was dispirited. However, his aura was very strong, just like the sword in his hand. He was an 8-star king, but he could kill sovereigns. Night Sorrow could tell that he used his spirit to activate the sword, which was different from using the saber of destiny. You are courting death. How dare you kill my men? Yang Yu's body flashed and flew out of the restaurant opposite. He landed not far from the dispirited young man with his weapon out of its sheath. As the saying goes, a good dog doesn't block the way. If your men block the way, they should be killed. Since you dare to touch him, I will call the patrol team. Let's see if they will do anything. Night Sorrow walked out of the stall. The dispirited young man could be said to be helping him kill someone. He couldn't sit back and do nothing. Night Sorrow, I will kill you. I will. Hearing that Night Sorrow was going to call the patrol team, Yang Yu was so angry that his face turned green. However, he didn't dare to do anything. He thought that he was weak and didn't want to provoke the patrol team. If he wanted to kill someone, he had subordinates. This is not the first time you have said this. We will treat it as *T. Brother, come here. Datira waved at the dispirited young man. I am still taking orders today. Let's see if anyone dares to stop me. Well, if anyone dares to stop me, I will kill one more and then close the stall. Night Sorrow glanced at Yang Yu and said, Me. At this time someone shouted. Yang Yu could only stop them, but he couldn't kill them. Therefore he couldn't scare them. However, at this time, a man in black swung his sword at Night Sorrow's back. He was a heaven monarch. When someone shouted that they wanted to refine something, Yang Yu gave his subordinate a look. He was in a dilemma. Instead of letting Night Sorrow make the first move, he might as well send someone to do it first. How dare you sneak and attack? Go to hell. Datira attacked with her hollow blade, and directly used the death destruction slash. Right now, Datira's strength was different from before. After absorbing the essence left behind by Datira chinensis, she had already surpassed the Heaven Monarch realm. A black light flashed and landed on the Heaven Monarch's body. The moment the Heaven Monarch lost his ability to react, Datira's hollow blade landed on his head. A single slash had the same effect as the dispirited man. The only difference was that the opponent he killed was of a different level. Night Sorrow said to Datira and the dispirited man, "Uluo, it's about time for today. Let's go home and have some tea. Brothers, let's go together. If I can help you, I won't be stingy." Packing up and leaving, Night Sorrow's group left treasure-seeking street. The furious Yang Yu and Nangong Yu were left behind. They didn't expect Night Sorrow's wife to be so strong. Night Sorrow and the others left, and today's matter came to an end. Night Sorrow led the group into a restaurant and ordered a table of dishes. "Brother, have a seat. Let's talk. What do you need my help with?" Night Sorrow said to the dispirited man standing at the side. "My sister was poisoned, so I came out of the vast wilderness to find a solution. I went to many places, but I don't have the resources and can't pay the price. Also, no one can cure the sky scorpion's poison," the dispirited man said. "The sky scorpion's poison is harmful to the body. What level is the sky scorpion?" Night Sorrow asked. He knew a little about the sky scorpion. It was a strange poison. It was fine if it was of a low level, but if it was of a high level, it was almost impossible to cure. "It's not a high level, but it is a very rare blood sky scorpion. I wonder if Lord Night Sorrow can cure it?" the dispirited man asked. "I can try, but I don't know how effective it is. After all, I haven't seen your sister's condition," Night Sorrow said. "Ji Dao pleads for your help, Lord." The dispirited man, Ji Dao, bowed to Night Sorrow. "This is a colored glass pill. Its detoxification effect is not bad. You can try it. Here are 2 life spirit pills. It can help with recovery." Night Sorrow took out a few pills and handed them to Ji Dao. "Thank you, Lord. Ji Dao will first send the pills back to the vast wilderness, then return. Ji Dao's life is yours. If Ji Dao doesn't return, I am willing to accept the wrath of the heavens." Ji Dao knelt on one knee and swore a heavenly oath. "First, there's no need for that, you can go. Treating your sister's injuries is more important." Night Sorrow raised his arm and used energy to bind Ji Dao. "Ji Dao has something on his mind. I have to leave now. Please forgive me, Lord." Ji Dao bowed to Night Sorrow. "Go back quickly. This matter is urgent." Night Sorrow nodded to Ji Dao. Ji Dao then left. He was indeed in a hurry. This Ji Dao is very strong. He should be from a special race in the vast wilderness. Datira said. "He has the quintessential energy cultivation of an 8-star sovereign king, but his soul power is at the heavenly monarch level. That's why he can easily kill a sovereign with his soul power," Yishang said. "He was lucky to be able to meet young master and madam. Otherwise, without resources, how could he get the pills?" Lu Yin said. "Men need to have a sense of responsibility. They need to protect their family at all costs. This is worthy of respect. If you can help, then help. It is also a good karma. Who doesn't have a difficult time?" Night Sorrow said. Helping Ji Dao cost him a few pills, but Night Sorrow didn't feel bad at all. He felt that it was worth it. Just based on what Ji Dao said, it was worth it. 1 or 2 pills are nothing to us, but to him they are life-saving. It wasn't easy for him to travel across mountains and rivers to come out of the vast wilderness. Datira was also very emotional. After Yang Yu and Gong Xianmun ransacked an inn, they began to discuss how to deal with Night Sorrow. "Where is your guard commander? Can you not send trash to die? Don't you think it's embarrassing? This is a blow to our morale and boost others' prestige." Gong Xianmun said as she tidied up her skirt. "My guard commander went to do something and will be back in 2 days. This is not just my problem. You have to help too." Yang Yu said. "I believe in you. You can definitely handle it. Isn't he just a bumpkin without any background?" Gong Xianmun glanced at Yang Yu and said, "If it doesn't work, we can go to the Divine Devil Castle for a mission. If we really want to kill him, it will be as easy as squashing an ant. Yang Yu glanced at Gong Xianmun and said. He didn't want to spend too much money. A mission in the Divine Devil Castle wasn't something that could be solved with just a few Saint Spirit stones. Then what do you think we should do now? Gong Xianmun didn't want to embarrass herself anymore. She felt that she had lost all her face in the past 2 days. Go to his residence. Tonight, we will arrange for a few heavenly monarchs to kill him. Yang Yu spoke his mind. But the patrol team is a problem. Gong Xianmun didn't want to break the rules of the ethereal imperial city. It was set by the battle emperor. It was an imperial edict, and the 7 prefecture lords were the executors. Chapter 1554. After Night Sorrow and the other 2 returned to the courtyard, Lu Yin cleaned up the courtyard and went to rest in the side room beside the gatehouse. Night Sorrow's courtyard was in the shape of a courtyard house. It was a courtyard house in a small garden. However, the small garden was not big. After all, it was just a small courtyard house. Datira and Night Sorrow stayed in the main room. At this time, Datira made tea and chatted with Night Sorrow. He asked about Night Sorrow's cultivation situation. Night Sorrow told Datira about his situation. With the help of the Haotian God Pagoda, Night Sorrow's cultivation and realm were rapidly increasing. The level of his battle intent was constantly deepening. In addition, he was deducing a few sub-attribute willpower. The void willpower was perfected. Night Sorrow began to combine the void willpower and battle intent to study the void world. It was a kind of heaven and earth trend. In addition, Night Sorrow's comprehension of the space-time willpower had reached the level of an 8-point monarch. In other words, he had comprehended the space-time willpower to 98%. He was just 2 points away from perfecting it and reaching the Heaven Monarch realm. There was a clerical error in the previous chapter. It was not an 8-star king but an 8-point monarch. The comprehension of the destruction willpower was also relatively smooth. With the support of time and the Haotian God Pagoda, the comprehension was very fast. You should seize the time to cultivate. Cultivate your highest achievement to the imperial realm. Then your height will increase greatly, Datira said. I think so too. Now I have studied the combination of battle intent and the void willpower. Once the combination is complete, I will reach the half-step imperial realm. I can follow this path to reach the imperial realm. How about your situation? Now, I feel that you are no longer a heavenly monarch. Night Sorrow looked at Datira and asked. After I refined Datira Chinensis's source energy and fused with her source energy, I comprehended a new ability called the Death Domain. It is the embryonic form of the momentum of heaven and earth. When I completely comprehend it, it will become the momentum of heaven and earth. According to the current situation of the fusion, when I completely fuse with it, I will reach the Emperor realm. However, it will take a long time and there will be bottlenecks. After all, this is a breakthrough in the realm, Datira said. It's a good thing. This is all hope, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then, since you have the Yellow Spring Stone, can you comprehend the law of death and the will of death? Datira thought of another question. My original body has never stopped researching the will of nothingness and the will of spacetime. Now that I have the will of destruction, I don't have the energy to research anything else. The Yellow Spring Stone is in this body of mine, so I don't know if I can comprehend it specifically. Night Sorrow shook his head. Yes, you have too many things now, and they are all high-end and top-notch. Let's put the death attribute aside for now. Datira nodded. Also, the 2 of us have to be careful. They can't do anything to us in Treasure-Seeking Street during the day. They might use underhanded methods. We have to be careful. Assassination is possible, Night Sorrow said. That is a possibility. However, as long as they don't come to the Emperor realm, the 2 of us can handle it, Datira said. She was not only confident in herself, but also in Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had killed a half-step Emperor realm expert twice. Lai Bing and Evil Bing were examples. There were also examples of killing an Emperor realm expert. The Magic Dragon General's clone had also fallen in the hands of Night Sorrow. Just as the 2 of them were talking, there was a commotion outside. Glancing at Datira, Night Sorrow reached out and pulled out the space-splitting spear. Aluo, help me restrain the opponent while protecting yourself. Don't go back today. At this moment, 4 heaven monarchs appeared around Night Sorrow's small courtyard. There were also 2 monarch realm experts outside. This was the strength that Yang Yu and Gong Xian could mobilize. In the celestial realm, there were very few emperor realm experts. If one wanted to occupy a territory and become a king, he or she would be a warlord. There weren't many heaven monarchs either. Even people like Yang Yu and Gong Xian could only mobilize a limited amount of people. After all, not everyone could cultivate to the heaven monarch realm. One shot. There were many heaven monarchs in the Guanyue prefecture and the Tianyang prefecture, but they weren't people that the 2 of them could mobilize. This time there were 4 people. 2 were with Yang Yu, 2 were with Gong Xian, and 1 of them was with Ghost Monkey. Because the courtyard was small, the array that Night Sorrow could set up was limited. Therefore it was easily broken through. Yang Yu and Gong Xian also appeared in the small courtyard. Both of them were heaven monarchs. The 7 prefecture lords were all emperors. Their children's aptitudes were naturally not bad. In addition, they had unlimited resources. Therefore, it wasn't a problem for them to cultivate to the king or monarch realm. If they were lucky enough, they could become heaven monarchs. You really have no bottom line. Come on then. The energy on Night Sorrow's body vibrated. The mystic yellow armor protected his back. Then he waved the space-splitting spear and charged toward Yang Yu. Kill. Yang Yu also shouted. At this moment, the monarch realm experts outside the courtyard activated the array disc. They activated the array disc to cover up the battle here. They didn't want others to find out and patrol teams to come. Night Sorrow wanted to kill Yang Yu. Naturally, Yang Yu and Gong Xian's men wouldn't just stand by and watch. They directly waved their weapons and charged toward Night Sorrow. After using the afterimage body, Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear stabbed toward a heaven monarch in front. With the improvement of his cultivation, Night Sorrow's afterimage body had reached a level where it was hard to distinguish between the real and the fake. Seeing an opponent charging toward them, the heaven monarchs all waved their weapons to block. This allowed Night Sorrow to easily approach the heaven monarch in front. If he wanted to kill Yang Yu, this heaven monarch would be an obstacle. Void to origin kill. Night Sorrow attacked with the space-splitting spear and directly used the void to origin kill. Seeing Night Sorrow attack, the heaven monarch attacked with the long sword in his hand. He stabbed toward Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear. With a loud explosion, the tip of the heaven monarch's longsword was punctured. At the same time his body was sent flying. Night Sorrow's body shook and continued to charge forward. The space-splitting spear shook and turned into the void to extreme kill. Since the opponent had already come to kill him, Night Sorrow didn't hold back and continuously used his killing moves. This spear was extremely fast. The right arm of the heaven monarch blocking the way was still numb. He could only endure the intense discomfort in his body and wave his sword to block Night Sorrow's attack. However, everything was in vain. Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear had an energy vibration and directly blocked the longsword that didn't have much energy. The space-splitting spear directly entered the heaven monarch's chest and abdomen. Then, a purple halo exploded and destroyed the heaven monarch's dantian from his chest to abdomen. In this heaven monarch's horrified eyes, Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear pierced through the heaven monarch's forehead. After kicking the heaven monarch's corpse away, Night Sorrow charged toward Yang Yu. Today, Night Sorrow's main target was Yang Yu. If he didn't get rid of Yang Yu, trouble would continue to exist. Seeing Night Sorrow kill his heaven monarch subordinate with just 2 moves, Yang Yu's expression changed. He waved his hand and asked another heaven monarch to stop Night Sorrow. He drew his long sword and was ready to fight. During this period, Yang Yu hadn't fought. It wasn't that he wasn't strong enough. It was that he didn't want to fight with Night Sorrow because he was the son of the Tianyang prefecture master. Chapter 1555. Beseech. At this moment, aside from the heaven monarch that was being held back by Datira, Ghost Monkey and another heaven monarch charged towards Night Sorrow. Yang Yu and Gong Xianyu also made their move. The 4 of them surrounded Night Sorrow. Today is the day that you, a native, will pay the price for your blindness. Yang Yu brandished a sword aura towards Night Sorrow. Perhaps you are right. Today is the day that you will pay the price. However, perhaps you will be the one to pay the price for your arrogance. Night Sorrow's body flashed as he dodged the besiegement. He then brandished his space splitter spear and charged towards Yang Yu. Night Sorrow's main target was Yang Yu. Normally, Night Sorrow would kill Gong Xianyu first. However, Gong Xianyu was a woman, and Night Sorrow had not reached the point where he had to capture and kill a woman. Therefore, Yang Yu became his first target. Yang Yu was the son of an Imperial Realm expert. The consequences of killing him were very serious. However, Night Sorrow could not bear it. He had to kill him first. As for the consequences, he would deal with it later. Yang Yu brandished his sword and attacked Night Sorrow. He then quickly retreated. He had seen the strength of Night Sorrow's attacks. Therefore, he did not want to clash head-on with Night Sorrow. Since he had decided to kill, Night Sorrow would not hold back. He also would not be soft-hearted. The Space Splitter Spear executed the Great Emperor Samsara Slash. At the same time, the Space Splitter Spear was unleashed. It slashed towards the back and blocked the attacks of Gong Xianyu and the others. Then the soul-extinguishing slash was sent towards Yang Yu. However, Gong Xian's speed was extremely fast. His figure flashed twice, crossing the spatial rift's blockade. Then he slashed his sword at Night Sorrow's waist. Seeing that Gong Xian had taken the initiative to attack, Yang Yu stopped retreating and rushed forward. At the same time, a red light appeared on his head, blocking the halo produced by Night Sorrow's Emperor Samsara Slash. Then he unsheathed his sword to meet Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear. At this moment, he felt that this was an opportunity to kill Night Sorrow together with Gong Xian. Night Sorrow understood that Yang Yu had a soul defense treasure. Although his absolute art had no effect on the soul, its effect on spacetime was still there. Yang Yu's speed was obviously much slower. Night Sorrow did not dodge Gong Xianyu's sword attack. Instead, he kicked out with his right leg. His target was Gong Xianyu's dantian. The Space Splitter Spear continued forward. It was the Nihility returning to origin. Gong Xianyu's sword erupted with an intense light. Then it stabbed towards Night Sorrow's waist. Die. However, Gong Xianyu's sword did not pierce Night Sorrow's waist. Gong Xianyu's sword did not pierce through. The defense of Night Sorrow's mysterious yellow armor was not something that Gong Xianyu could break through. As for the small amount of sword chi that had pierced through, it was nothing compared to Night Sorrow's virtuous immortal body's defense. However, at this moment, Night Sorrow's attack arrived. His right leg was like a giant axe as it chopped down on Gong Xianyu's chest. Night Sorrow's kick was so powerful that Gong Xianyu looked as if he had been hit by a giant beast. His originally proud pair of surging breasts were smashed flat. His entire chest caved in, and his dantian's true chi was scattered. He had no power to fight back. Seeing Gong Xianyu fly backwards, Ghost Monkey's expression changed. He no longer cared about attacking Night Sorrow. His body flashed as he grabbed Gong Xianyu's body and rushed out of the courtyard. He knew that this was impossible. He understood Gong Xianyu's strength. Not only had he failed to break through Night Sorrow's defense, but he had also been kicked out of the courtyard by Night Sorrow. How could he continue fighting? If Night Sorrow grabbed Gong Xianyu and killed Gong Xianyu, then Gong Xianyu would definitely die. 6 Heaven Monarchs had come tonight. Night Sorrow had killed one of them. Gong Xianyu and Ghost Monkey had retreated from the battle. Datira was suppressing another Heaven Monarch. If it wasn't for his strong soul spirit defense, he would have been a corpse by now. Only Yang Yu and another Heaven Monarch were left. These were the opponents that Night Sorrow had to face. After crippling Gong Xianyu with a kick, Night Sorrow used the Void Return to Origin kill with his Space Splitter Spear and attacked Yang Yu. Gong Xianyu's defeat shocked Yang Yu. At this moment, he was facing Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear attack. It was too late for him to retreat. He could only continue to attack Night Sorrow with his sword. If you think I'm easy to bully, then go to hell. Night Sorrow didn't care about the other Heaven Monarch attacking his back. He moved his Space Splitter Spear down by 1 foot, dodging Yang Yu's sword, and stabbed towards Yang Yu's dantian. Yang Yu's face was filled with fear. At this moment, He remembered that Gong Xianyu's full-strength sword attack couldn't hurt Night Sorrow. Therefore, Night Sorrow didn't need to worry about the damage of his sword. What about him? If he was hit, he would definitely die. In a panic, Yang Yu pressed his sword down with his right hand and grabbed Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear with his left hand. He grabbed it. Yang Yu's sword didn't suppress Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear, but it still slowed down the spear. Therefore, his left hand successfully grabbed the Space Splitter Spear. Night Sorrow's right hand burst with energy. The spear light shot out and rushed towards Yang Yu's dantian. Then he used his left hand to attack Yang Yu's head with oscillating fist. Faster $nu Q fastest I up FW at this time. Yang Yu's subordinate, the Heavenly Monarch, also stabbed Night Sorrow's back. Although it didn't pierce through Night Sorrow's defense, the force pushed Night Sorrow forward. This force pushed the Space Splitter Spear forward another half a foot. Night Sorrow's body and Yang Yu's body were already very close. Bang! Night Sorrow's left fist landed on Yang Yu's head. However, Yang Yu's Divine Sea's defensive treasure was very powerful. Not only could it block soul attacks, it could also block material attacks. It also blocked Night Sorrow's punch, and didn't let Yang Yu's head explode. So what if it didn't explode? Night Sorrow's violent punch shook Yang Yu until he was bleeding from his 7 orifices. Naturally, his hands, which were controlling Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear, lost their strength. Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear instantly pierced Yang Yu's dantian, and then exploded with energy. With his dantian broken and his cultivation destroyed, Yang Yu woke up. However, he was faced with Night Sorrow's left fist again. Like a watermelon, without Yang Yu's self-activated defensive treasure, it lost its power and could no longer protect Yang Yu. Yang Yu's head was directly smashed. A red bead appeared in front of Night Sorrow's eyes. Night Sorrow casually scooped up the red bead and shot back with his spear. Yang Yu's subordinate, who was constantly attacking him like a chick eating rice, was sent flying. At this time, Datira also killed his opponent. After killing his opponent, Datira flew into the air and slashed with his hollow blade. The blade light enveloped the Heavenly Monarch, who was beaten back by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't join forces with Datira to attack this Heavenly Monarch. Instead, he put away Yang Yu's storage ring and weapon and then watched Datira's battle. After 2 consecutive slashes, Datira shocked his opponent to the point that he couldn't resist. Then he used the Great Death Destruction Slash and killed this Heavenly Monarch with 1 slash. He didn't even have a chance to escape. 6 Heavenly Monarchs came, and 4 of them died. Only Ghost Monkey escaped with Gong Xianyu. At this time, the patrol team arrived. It was led by a Heavenly Monarch. They directly took control of the team that Yang Yu and Gong Xianyu brought over outside the courtyard. Night Sorrow and Datira also came out. Chapter 1556. Lord Heavenly Monarch, this is my courtyard. Just now, Guanyue Prefecture's Young Prefecture Lord Gong Xianyu and Tianyang Prefecture's Young Prefecture Lord Yang Yu brought people here to attack us, Night Sorrow said. It's Night Heaven Master. I just recognized you. Young Mistress told me to focus on patrolling this area. I was careless. The Heavenly Monarch leading the team cupped his hands at Night Sorrow. He was still angry because he had dealt with the 2 sovereigns who refused to be captured. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, he recognized Night Sorrow. When Guanyue Prefecture and Tianyang Prefecture were mentioned, he also thought of Night Sorrow. This matter had caused quite a stir. It's nothing. Thank you for your hard work, Lord Heavenly Monarch, Night Sorrow said. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. What's the situation? The Heavenly Monarch asked. He was the patrol captain of Guanyue Prefecture, Jiangmu. 6 Heavenly Monarchs came. Only Gong Xianyu and Ghost Marquis escaped. Night Sorrow said. Yang Yu is dead? Jiangmu was shocked. Yes, he's dead. Night Sorrow nodded. Jiangmu exhaled. This was a big deal. The prefecture lord's son had been killed. This had not happened for many years. Recently, it had happened one after another. Not long ago, the Dark Shadow Prefecture's young prefecture lord was killed. This was another one. The situation is a little serious. Be careful, Night Heaven Master. I have to go back and report. Jiang Mu cupped his hands at Night Sorrow and left with the captured people. Night Sorrow and Datira returned to the prefecture. Lu Yun looked at the two in shock because there were 4 corpses in the courtyard. They were all heavenly monarchs. Night Sorrow, we have to make plans to escape. Haha, but it's fine. Killing Yang Yu can be considered as venting our anger, Datira said. Night Sorrow nodded. It's a clone, but this loss will make him furious. Perhaps the Heavenly Sun Prefecture Master will step in. Young Master, isn't there a rule in Ethereal Imperial City? They can't do as they please, right? Lu Yun looked at Night Sorrow and said. Rules need to be obeyed, but they are also meant to be broken. If the Heavenly Sun Prefecture Master were to take action against us, it would be like a sudden clap of thunder. The patrols wouldn't even be able to catch a shadow of him, so it would be pointless to be killed by him. Night Sorrow shook his head. Night Sorrow, what do you think we should do? If it doesn't work, we'll leave. It's not too late to leave now. Datira also knew the seriousness of the matter. But even so, he still had to do what he had to do. As a cultivator, he could not allow his dignity to be trampled on. Treasure-seeking street. Let's go to treasure-seeking street now. There are many people there, but it's unrealistic for anyone to attack us without anyone noticing. Would the Heavenly Sun Prefecture Master dare to break the rules of the Ethereal Battle Monarch in public? I don't think he would dare, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. After making the decision, Night Sorrow and the other 2 went directly to Treasure-Seeking Street. There was a back hall in Treasure-Seeking Street where one could rest. Many of the stalls were their homes. Night Sorrow and the other 2 had calmed down, but the trouble they had caused was too big. When the seriously injured Gong Xianyu returned to his residence, Guanyue Prefecture Master Gong Yufan knew about it. Gong Xianyu was in a dispirited state. His cultivation had almost been destroyed by Night Sorrow's kick. Although his dantian had not been shattered, he was still seriously injured. Seeing the injured Gong Xianyu, Gong Yufan's face was filled with anger. He waved his hand and slapped Ghost Monkey. What are you doing? Is this how you protect the young miss? Prefecture Master, the opponent was too strong. We sent 6 heavenly monarchs. Perhaps only the young miss and I managed to escape, Ghost Monkey said after he regained his footing. Tell me the details. Gong Yufan glared at Ghost Monkey. Ghost Monkey bowed and explained the situation. Go and investigate the situation. See how that brat Yang Yu is doing. Gong Yufan instructed Ghost Monkey. He wanted to vent his anger, but he was not brainless. As one of the 7 prefecture masters, Gong Yufan was very smart. Guanyue Prefecture was fine, but Tianyang Prefecture was in an uproar. Yang Yu's original body went to find his father, Yang Tianlai, and asked him to seek justice for him. Are you stupid? Why wouldn't you let others do this? I already warned you that there are no good people in Guanyue Prefecture. You still wanted to mix with that fickle woman. Serves you right. Yang Tianlai scolded. Yang Yu, who was scolded, did not say anything. He never expected that he and Gong Xianyu would be killed so miserably when they went to kill Night Sorrow with 4 heavenly monarchs. Stay at home. Don't go out. Yang Tianlai glared at Yang Yu and left. According to Yang Yu, Yang Tianlai arrived at Night Sorrow's residence. After checking that there was no one there, Yang Tianlai knew that Night Sorrow had left. He was here to kill. The place was not crowded. And he was a great emperor. If he wanted to kill someone, he could leave. The patrols would not be able to see him. Now that Night Sorrow was not here, Yang Tianlai knew that Night Sorrow had already thought of this step. Yang Tianlai arrived at Treasure-Seeking Street, but things would not end here. Yang Tianlai arrived at Night Sorrow's stall. Even at night, Treasure-Seeking Street was filled with feasting and revelry, but it could not hide his aura. Get out here! Yang Tianlai shouted when he arrived at Night Sorrow's stall. Night Sorrow and Datira were drinking tea in the back hall when Yang Tianlai arrived. At the same time, Duan Yu secretly crushed Wu Feng's messaging crystal. Hearing Yang Tianlai's shout, Night Sorrow walked out. Shouting and shouting? Is it very impressive? You dare to kill this seat's son. You will die. Yang Tianlai's eyes were filled with coldness. Your son would say the same thing, but he is dead. Arrogant? What right do you have to be so arrogant? With your cultivation and status? If you were the owner of Ethereal Dynasty, or if you were stronger than Ethereal Battle Emperor, then you would have no problem. But can you do it now? Night Sorrow replied indifferently. Night Sorrow's words were harsh. If Yang Tianlai dared to say anything, it would be a great disrespect to Ethereal Battle Emperor. The consequences would be severe. Ethereal Battle Emperor stood at the pinnacle of all cultivators. He was number 1 on the Celestial Demon list. His dignity could not be blasphemed. Yang Tianlai did not dare. You are just an outsider. How dare you order our Ethereal Dynasty around? Yang Tianlia's killing intent was getting stronger. I am an outsider in your eyes, but you are trash in my eyes. A crooked stick will have a crooked shadow. You are not a good person either. If you want to fight, then go ahead. I don't care. It is just a clone. I can use my clone to fight you until you are punished by the rules of Ethereal Imperial City. Night Sorrow said. He was not afraid of Yang Tianlai. Because you are an outsider, there are some things that you do not understand. You will understand after you die today. Lord Battle Emperor, I Yang Tianlai, will kill someone today. It is not that I am disrespectful to you, but I will ask for your forgiveness after this. Yang Tianlai took out a crystal ball and recorded his words. Then he kept the crystal ball and looked at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was a little stunned. He did not expect Yang Tianlai to be so playful. Chapter 1557. I ate free small tea. Sayam Monarch Wufeng wants to interfere in this matter? Yang Tianlai turned to look at Wufeng. Yes, I owe him a favor. As for your conflict, he's a heavenly monarch. The Heavenly Sun Prefecture's heavenly monarchs can do whatever they want, even if they want to kill me. If he can't survive, it's his own fault. However, if you want to interfere, it won't make sense, right? Wufeng didn't beat around the bush and directly expressed his attitude. Is there room for negotiation? Yang Tianlai asked. There's no room for negotiation. Wufeng shook his head and also answered with 3 words. Yang Tianlai didn't say anything else to Wufeng. He glanced at Night Sorrow and left. You've got guts, brat. Then, go to the blood battle stage and accept my challenge. Night Sorrow thanks Brother Wufeng. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Wufeng. Brat, how did you provoke him? Wufeng shook his head with a smile. I killed his son. I don't know if it was his true body or a clone, but he came looking for me. Night Sorrow told him the reason Yang Tianlai had come looking for trouble. You killed his son? When did that happen? Make me a pot of tea first and we'll talk. Wufeng was stunned for a moment after hearing Night Sorrow's words. Datura made the tea. Night Sorrow invited Wufeng to sit down, and then told him about the attack on the villa tonight. You killed him well. Since that old fellow came looking for trouble, I'll do my best to help you block him. If I can't block him, then we'll talk about it, Wufeng said. I didn't expect things to be so serious that even the rules are useless, Night Sorrow said. Things had really exceeded his expectations. The 7 prefecture lords are the administrators of the Ethereal Empire and subordinates of the Ethereal Battle Emperor. They have to maintain the order set by the Battle Emperor, but they can talk to the Battle Emperor. All they did was kill a heavenly monarch and ask for forgiveness. It's not a big deal, Wufeng said to Night Sorrow. I was too simple-minded and brought trouble to Brother Wufeng. Night Sorrow said apologetically. Yang Tianlai is easy to deal with, but Old Gong is hard to deal with. He's Emperor Scheming, one of the 7 prefecture lords of the Ethereal Empire. He's the most difficult to deal with. He doesn't even use his blade to kill. Hence, he's expanding his influence and snatching talents from other prefecture lords' territories. None of the other prefecture lords are willing to offend him, Wufeng said. That Gong Xian was severely injured by me. I'm guessing that he's already made up his mind. The other party won't give up, Night Sorrow said. Let's take a look at the situation first. If it doesn't work out, I'll send you to a friend of mine and work for her army. Yang Tianlai and Old Gong won't be able to touch you, Edgeless said. Afterward, Edgeless told Night Sorrow that he knew one of the 7 prefecture lords, Prefecture Lord Song Ning. Prefecture Lord Song Ning used to be the ethereal battle emperor's close follower and sister. Her strength was shocking. Now, she was the #1 prefecture lord among the 7 prefecture lords. She controlled the Tsongning army, which was above the city's patrol team. With your strength, you can go to the Tsongning army and become a captain. But that's for later. Let's see what those 2 old men have up their sleeves, Edgeless said. Thank you, Brother Wufeng. There's nothing to thank. This is wine from my hometown. It was brewed by my wife. Knight Sorrow took out a bottle of green blood wine. Don't be so polite. When we do things, it's all about fate. You're just like me in the past. But you're much stronger than me. You have to try good wine, Seamless said with a smile. After drinking the green blood wine, Knight Sorrow took out a few jars of wine for Wufeng. One of them was dragon root wine. The dragon root wine had been brewed by Qing Ji from the 5-clawed pterodactyl's corpse that Knight Sorrow had obtained in the 9 Realms world. If someone with a low cultivation base drank it, it would have other effects. If someone with a high cultivation base drank it, it would replenish their blood qi. And it would only be a small amount. I'll take it. As long as you give me good wine, I'll take it, Wufeng said. Brother Wufeng, I'll work hard. When my cultivation is higher, I'll find a way to solve your problem, Knight Sorrow said to Wufeng. Oh, I would have forgotten about that if you didn't mention it. It's doable. Work hard. Wufeng patted Knight Sorrow's shoulder and tossed him a messaging crystal before leaving. Duan Yu followed Wufeng to a secluded place. Keep an eye on this place. Send some people to his residence as well. If a great emperor cultivator appears, call me, Wufeng said. Although he had left a message crystal for Yishang, he was worried that Yishang would be too stubborn to bother him if something happened. This subordinate understands. This fellow is a troublemaker. He probably won't hold back. There will be more. Duan Yu already knew that Knight Sorrow had killed Yang Yu. He had learned about it when Wufeng and Knight Sorrow were chatting. Knight Sorrow, this brother of yours is very impressive. That Yang Tianlai didn't even flare up and immediately retreated. Datira, who was drinking tea with Knight Sorrow in a stall, said. Strength. Brother Wufeng is very strong. Yang Tianlai clearly couldn't contend against you. Besides, he was in the wrong and had no choice but to retreat. This also shows how domineering Brother Wufeng is. Knight Sorrow nodded. Young master, this is a big favor, Lu Yin said. No, it's not a favor. Brother Wufeng helped me without asking for anything in return. I also don't feel like I owe anyone a favor. As long as Brother Wufeng needs it, I will do it if I can, Knight Sorrow said. Lu Yin was stunned. Knight Sorrow's philosophy was indeed very strange. At the same time, Duan Yu, who was passing by Knight Sorrow's shop, was also stunned. He didn't expect Knight Sorrow to have such thoughts. However, this idea was very much to his liking. He also understood that Wufeng was right to help Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow, you still have to be careful. When Yang Tianlai left, he mentioned something about the blood battle arena. I don't think it's anything good, Datira said. I know about the blood battle arena. In fact, it's a place to settle grudges. Although martial arts are prohibited in the city, grudges still have to be settled. The blood battle arena is a place to fight to the death. It's also a place where many ruthless people train themselves. Once they enter, they will have to fight to the death, Knight Sorrow said. It's very dangerous. Datira looked at Knight Sorrow. She wanted to know Knight Sorrow's decision. The blood battle arena can't be forced. If you want to fight, then fight. If you don't want to, then don't fight. However, if someone asks you to fight, it's very embarrassing not to fight. Knight Sorrow looked at Datira and said, That's fine. Let's see how they come. With Brother Wufeng's help, they won't be able to use some of their methods. We don't have to be too afraid. If it's not possible, then don't fight. Can they still bite? Datira said. Yes, we're not afraid of heaven monarchs. If it's an Imperial Realm expert, then we won't fight. Besides, if an Imperial Realm expert asks King to fight in the blood battle arena, their faces will be smashed to the ground, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Very good. How comfortable. We killed a few people and still have nothing to do, Datira said with a smile. Chapter 1558. You fought a lot. This treasure is suitable for you. Don't give it to me, said Datira. During the battle in the courtyard, Datira had witnessed Yang Yu's defense. She knew the power of this red bead. Not only could it defend against soul attacks, but it was also effective against material attacks. Thus, she wanted to leave it for Night Sorrow. My soul defense is unbreakable. You should know this. So it's suitable for you. Don't decline. Night Sorrow didn't make it too obvious. The walls had ears, and the 9 regions origin bead was his greatest trump card. That's true. I'll keep it then. Datira smiled. She had delayed it because she was worried about Night Sorrow. Now that she had calmed down, she thought of Night Sorrow's soul defense. It was the protection of the world's origin. Some defensive treasures simply couldn't compare. Night Sorrow also had another soul defense treasure. It was the cyan jade bracelet he had obtained from Shadow Manor's young manor lord, Luo Fei. Perhaps its level was slightly lower than Yang Yu's red bead. Back then, Luo Fei had still been affected by his lost technique. Of course, it was also related to his own cultivation. Before obtaining Yang Yu's protective pearl, Night Sorrow had planned to give the cyan jade bracelet to Datira. Because of that, he had forgotten to give it to her, because he had too many things to do. Now Night Sorrow planned to give it to his main body. Or rather, when his main body fought, he would use the origin bead and give the cyan jade bracelet to his clone. After all, Night Sorrow lacked a soul defense treasure. Datira went to the back hall to refine the red bead. Night Sorrow told Lu Yun to look after the stall. He also went to the back hall. Then he called Datira, who was about to meditate, to enter the 8-dragon cauldron. This spatial treasure of yours isn't bad either, said Datira. I refined it some time ago. Now it has a spatial acceleration effect of 10 times. It's also an amazing treasure, said Night Sorrow with a smile. After that, Night Sorrow and Datira went to refine the soul defense treasure. However, it was somewhat troublesome. The original owner of the treasure was still alive. Regardless of whether it was the original body or the clone, their soul imprints were still inside the treasure. It was very difficult for a cultivator with a lower cultivation base to break the soul imprint of a cultivator with a higher cultivation base. However, Yang Yu and Luo Fei's soul powers were obviously not comparable to Night Sorrow and Datira, let alone being stronger than Night Sorrow and Datira. They were not even comparable. Soon, their soul imprints were broken one after another. At this moment, Luo Fei, who was meditating in a mansion within the Dark Shadow Mansion, opened his eyes. Damn it, don't let me know your true identity. Luo Fei's eyes were bloodshot. He had lost his true body, which was a huge loss. That day he had to attend a friend's birthday party. Both his true body and his clone had to go. His clone went to the party while his true body went to the City of Shadows. Unfortunately, his true body was killed. Luo Fei hated the fact that his true body was killed. Therefore, when he returned, he went to find his father, Luo Yuandao, for a divination. However, the divination told him that Killer Shang was a member of the Castle of Gods and Demons. However, Luo Fei knew that some people would meet again. If they were fated to meet again, they would not meet again. Although Luo Fei's true body was killed, some of his soul still existed. He was trying to fuse with his clone to see if there would be any changes. Even if there was a slight change, it would at least improve in the future. However, the chances of him entering the realm of Emperor were very slim. Luo Fei was already very angry. Now that he had lost contact with the jade bracelet, he knew that it had been refined. Therefore, he was especially furious. That green jade bracelet was a treasure of the Heavenly Tao. It was formed from the green lotus of Heavenly Tao. After being nourished by one's soul, it could continuously evolve. Luo Fei had not been in possession of it for very long. After refining the cyan jade bracelet, Yishang learned this information. He knew that this was a Heavenly Tao treasure created by a rank 9 green lotus in a spatial world. There was still a lot of room for improvement. Luo Fei hadn't used its full power yet. This made Night Sorrow very happy. He stored the bracelet in his spiritual sea and nourished it with his soul energy. After Night Sorrow finished refining the bracelet, he brewed a pot of tea and waited for Datira. Datura took a long time to refine the red bead. It took him 6 days and 6 nights. It was as if an entire night had passed in the outside world. How is it? Knight Sorrow asked. Very powerful. Do you know what it is? It's the blood-scale divine bead of the top divine beasts. I didn't expect Yongyu to have such a treasure, Datura said. You mean it's the divine bead of the blood-scale divine bead of the same level as the golden dragon? Knight Sorrow asked in surprise. Yes. I don't know where Yongyu got it. This thing has a cause and effect. However, we didn't get it from the blood-scale tribe, so it's not a big problem. The big problem is who took it from the blood-scale tribe, Datura said. That's good. We don't care about anything else. It's not like we stole it from the blood-scale tribe, Knight Sorrow said. Datura nodded. She didn't need to worry about those things. Datura had erased the soul imprint that Yongyu had left in the blood-scale divine bead. Yongyu knew immediately. He was so angry that he smashed everything in his mansion into pieces. What's wrong with you? Yang Tianlai appeared in Yongyu's mansion. 8p_forever6 exempt /CFY look, small equals say. Father, the blood-scale divine bead's soul imprint was erased by those 2 bastards, Yongyu said. Then we have to endure it for now. We'll deal with them when the time comes. Yang Tianlia's face looked terrible. He hadn't expected Wu Feng to show up. He couldn't afford to offend Wu Feng. Wu Feng was very powerful. Besides, there was one person he couldn't afford to offend, and that was Zhongning Prefecture Lord. Father, can't you just kill him directly? Can you take the bead back? Yongyu asked in confusion. If I can kill him, I will. I'll warn you again. Aren't the women in the mansion enough for you? If you dare to look for that slut again, I'll kill you. Yang Tianlai glared at his son. He knew what was going on in the moon-viewing mansion. Gong Yufan was good at scheming, so Yang Tianlai was afraid that he would be tricked. The 7 prefecture lords were all subordinates of the ethereal battle emperor, but they didn't get along well with each other. Each of them represented a family or a force, so there were conflicts. As the saying goes, where there are people, there will be conflicts. Yongyu was a little stunned. He thought that if his father showed up, things would be resolved. He didn't expect things to be this bad. I'll set up the blood battle arena. I don't believe I can't kill him. Yang Tianlia's eyes were full of anger. It wasn't just because his son's clone had been killed and the blood-scale divine bead had been stolen. It was also because Wu Feng didn't give him any face. If he had been a peacemaker, he could have accepted it. But Wu Feng stood on Knight Sorrow's side and went against him. Chapter 1559. Gong Yufan had also received all the information, including the news of Yongyu's clone's death and Wu Feng's appearance. Gong Yufan did not say anything after receiving the news. In the end, he sent people to continue gathering information. Father, Knight Sorrow humiliated our Guanyue residents. Father, you must kill him. Gong Xianyu, who had recovered a little, said. What's the hurry? Yang Tianlai is the one who suffered the greatest loss this time. Let's see how he deals with it. Xianyu, you have to know that if you want to take revenge on someone, you don't have to kill him. You have to subdue him. Make him grovel at your feet and risk his life for you. That is revenge. Do you understand? Gong Yufan said to Gong Xianyu. Knight Sorrow is a talent. He is very outstanding. However, I have tried many methods, but he refused to submit. Gong Xianyu said. She had a good impression of Knight Sorrow, but Knight Sorrow did not give her any face. That's because he is not skilled enough. All right, let's settle this first. Yang Tianlia's son's clone has died. He has lost more face than us. Gong Yufan said. Fu Gong Xianyu did not say anything. She no longer had the ability to deal with Knight Sorrow. However, she would not give up so easily. Knight Sorrow's kick had shattered her face and dignity. At this moment, Wu Feng and a woman were sitting opposite each other in the hall of a luxurious residence. There was a chessboard between them. Wu Feng, you know the rules of the Zhongning army. You can join, but you need to be strong. Without strength, you can't join. However, I have to give you face. He can come to my Zhongning residence and find something to do. The woman sitting opposite Wu Feng said. The woman had a plump face and a voluptuous figure. Her eyes were filled with a sharp aura. She was the #1 Songning of the Ethereal Dynasty. She was also the commander of the Songning army. Songning, you think too much. I treat that young man as a brother. You will only admire him when you see him. He is not here to make a living. Wu Feng said. You, Wu Feng, have never mentioned who you've taken a fancy to in all these years. Since you've taken a fancy to someone, sure, bring them over. Prefecture Lord Songning said with a smile. I didn't bring it here now. I just wanted to say hello to you, Wu Feng said. That's fine too. You can bring it over whenever you want. Songning's sovereign nodded. His smiling face was a stark contrast to his sharp eyes. Wu Feng stood up and saluted Songning, then left Songning's mansion. After leaving Night Sorrow's place, Edgeless helped Night Sorrow choose a path of retreat. After all, fighting to the death would not benefit Edgeless. Regardless of whether his subordinates were right or wrong, the Ethereal Battle Emperor would always stand on their side first. He would only deal with internal affairs after dealing with external affairs. Xiaoxing, arrange for someone to investigate this person called Night Sorrow. I want all his information. At that moment, a figure appeared. The figure nodded at him and left the manor. After refining the Green Lotus Jade bracelet, Night Sorrow began to accept orders. This time, it was more peaceful and no one came to cause trouble. Many people knew what happened last night. Jiang Mu captured many people and naturally knew the result after interrogating them. After interrogating them, Songlan Manor did not hold back and directly killed all of them. Regardless of whether they were from Sky Sun Manor or Guanyue Manor, causing trouble in Songlan Manor's territory was already a slap to Songlan Manor's face. Jiang Tianheng was not a good-tempered person. Father, should we help Night Sorrow? He's a good person and very talented, Jiang Yu said to Jiang Tianheng in Songlan Manor. Baby girl, killing people from Sky Sun Manor and Guanyue Manor is equivalent to slapping them in the face. Night Sorrow killed Yang Tianli's son. How can Yang Tianli let it go? Besides, there's still that old bastard Gong. His daughter was beaten so badly. He won't let it go. If we recruit Night Sorrow now, it's equivalent to not giving them face. Jiang Tianheng shook his head and said. Father, in fact, Gong Yufan has not given anyone face these years. He often comes to our territory to show off. Why is there a conflict? It's all because his promiscuous daughter came to our territory to seduce someone. After failing to succeed, she flew into a rage out of humiliation. That Yang Yu is a fool who only thinks with his lower body. In the end, his clone was destroyed, Jiang Yu said. I understand what you're saying. Let's observe the situation first. Silly girl, don't tell me you like him? I've already checked. He has a wife, Jiang Tianheng said. Father, what are you saying? I admire him very much. He's a friend and nothing else, Jiang Yu said. Okay, I understand. Don't worry. That Wu Feng is not someone who can be provoked. Yang Tianli can't do it, and Gong Yufan won't be stupid enough to rush up. There's going to be a lot of fun. Let's observe first. Jiang Tianheng said with a smile. He had many children. Most of them were busy cultivating or starting their own businesses. Only his youngest daughter was always by his side. Night Sorrow's business was still very prosperous because it was a gold-plated brand. The things he refined were good, and the price was not expensive. In addition, everyone knew about Night Sorrow's matter. They all regarded Night Sorrow as their idol because no one dared to fight with the 7 mansions. They were the forces of Emperor Realm cultivators. When Emperor Realm cultivators moved, the earth would tremble. With business good, Night Sorrow earned resources. In fact, he mainly focused on earning resources. He only sold 3 sets of materials and 1 set of finished products. He also continued to collect inheritances related to the 9th rank. However, on the 3rd day, someone came to Night Sorrow. It was someone from Sky Sun Manor. Night Sorrow, you think you're very impressive, don't you? Our Sky Sun Manor's Heaven Monarch has set up an arena in the Blood Battle Arena. If you think you can do it, then go. If you can't, then it means you're trash. After delivering the message, the messenger from Sky Sun Manor turned and left. He had delivered the message according to Yang Tianlia's instructions. However, he was also afraid. Knight Sorrow had even dared to kill their young mansion master, let alone a guard like him. Trouble still came. Datura said. This is not much trouble. Let's go and take a look. I don't know much about the rules of the blood battle arena. Knight Sorrow said to Datura. Knight Sorrow was not afraid of a Heaven Monarch Realm blood battle arena, but he had to understand it first. At this moment in Songning Manor, a girl called Xiaoxing handed a few pieces of paper to Songning. After reading the information, Songning blinked a few times. Tell everyone who comes in contact with this information not to leak it. Otherwise they will be killed. Some of the information in Songning's hands could not be spread. Chapter 1560. Songning Manor's investigation ability was much better than Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan's. He had done 2 divinations. Although the divinations were interrupted when they reached the Godfiend Castle, the results were more detailed. After taking another look at Knight Sorrow's information, Songning Manor fell into deep thought. Then, he shook his arm and turned the pieces of paper into ashes. Manor Lord, that guy's combat ability is strong. A few heavenly monarchs fell in his hands. In the last battle he was even surrounded. Little Star bowed and said, he is indeed very outstanding. His personality is also very good. Otherwise, Wufeng wouldn't have valued him. Wufeng is a troublesome person. If I accept him, it would be the same as not giving face to Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan. However, if I don't give him face, then so be it. It doesn't matter. Songning Manor Lord said. Little Star didn't say anything. This wasn't the time for her to express her opinion. Send a scout over there. If there is any news, report back. I want to see what kind of person Gong Yufan can't rope in, and was angered by, Songning Manor Lord said. At this moment, Knight Sorrow and Datura arrived at the blood battle arena. Knight Sorrow found the staff of the blood battle arena to understand the situation there. The blood battle arena was set up by the ethereal battle emperor. It was a place to settle grudges and train cultivators. It was filled with blood and killing. To settle grudges, both parties would fight in the arena. They would fight to the death. However, if the challenged party didn't want to accept the challenge, there would be restrictions. If they didn't accept the challenge 3 times, it meant that they didn't have the courage and ability to cause trouble. Such people were considered trash. If the ethereal empire didn't keep them, they would be expelled. However, there was a time limit between the 3 challenges. The gap between the first and the third challenge was 30 years. These 30 years were the time and opportunity to fight back. However, there was an exception. If a person with a higher cultivation challenged a person with a lower cultivation, and the person with a lower cultivation rejected the challenge, it wasn't within the rules. As for training, it was a bloody battle without grudges. The winner of such a battle would be the arena lord. The 10 arena lords would have a certain reward. In other words, after becoming the arena lord and not losing 10 battles, the blood battle arena would give out rewards. The rewards for Champion 100 were even more generous. The blood battle platform would give out a lot of rewards, and the City Lord Mansion would also give some special treatment. No one had obtained the arena lord of 1,000 rings reward, but it still existed. The rules of the blood battle arena were very simple. It was a special arena, which could be said to be a beast cage. Once the 2 sides entered, they would fight inside, and no one could interfere. In the grudge mode, one would fight to the death, but in the training mode, one could surrender and admit defeat. After knowing the rules, Knight Sorrow nodded. The rules were reasonable. Although a little cruel, it was also the best place to train one's strength and stimulate one's potential. It's like this. My name is Knight Sorrow. I heard that someone set up a grudge ring to look for me, so I came to take a look, Knight Sorrow said to the staff. The staff member glanced at Knight Sorrow, then took out a booklet and flipped through it. It's about your grudge battle, but we haven't notified you yet. If you agree to this battle, then the battle will be held in 3 days. Didn't you explain in detail? Knight Sorrow asked. N. Head v. Harem. Normally, when someone sends a grudge battle challenge, Our blood battle platform will be responsible for notifying you, and then checking your cultivation level. Since no one has informed you, then no one will tell you the situation. Now let me tell you the details. The opponent is a heaven monarch, which is the same cultivation level as you. You can accept or reject, but if you reject, you can only reject twice in the next 30 years. If you reject 3 times, you will be expelled from the ethereal imperial city, the staff said. We are both heaven monarchs. I have no reason to reject. When will it be held? In 3 days? Knight Sorrow asked. If someone challenged him, he wouldn't back out. 3 days in the evening, but you have to come 2 hours in advance, the staff said. After understanding the situation, Knight Sorrow and Datura left the blood battle platform and walked around the city. Then Datura wanted to go to the Divine Devil Castle to take a look. She wanted to join because it was an opportunity. After all, the Divine Devil Castle had supreme-grade resources. Once she entered the Divine Devil Castle, she would have the opportunity to obtain these resources. Knight Sorrow didn't object. After arriving, Knight Sorrow waited in a tea house not far from the Divine Devil Castle. He didn't tell Datura about joining the Divine Devil Castle. After all, this was a secret, and it wasn't good to casually leak it. As for whether Datura could pass the test or not, Knight Sorrow wasn't worried. He knew how strong Datura was. 4 hours later, Datura came out with a face full of excitement. She had passed the test. Congratulations, but there is a mission. You have to see how confident you are first. If you are confident, then accept it, Knight Sorrow said. How did you know? Could it be? Datura looked at Knight Sorrow with eyes full of doubt. Then she understood. Through Knight Sorrow's words, she naturally analyzed the result. Knight Sorrow didn't say anything, and she also understood why. It was because of the rules. Knight Sorrow and Datura returned to the courtyard. Knight Sorrow, husband and wife are one. We are both from there, so it's not considered leaking the secret, Datura said. You are right, but it's better not to mention these things. Knight Sorrow said. He felt that Datura's words were reasonable, but he still felt that it was better to avoid it. I understand. Husband is the best, Datura said with a smile. Aren't you the same? Knight Sorrow said as he hugged Datura. Knight Sorrow's life wasn't affected by the matter of the blood battle platform. His stall was receiving business every day. One day before the battle on the blood battle platform, Jiangyu came. Knight Sorrow, I've heard about the matter. I really can't help you now. If you are not confident, then refuse. There are many members of the Heavenly Sun Prefecture's subordinate forces in the blood battle platform. Their actual combat strength is not proportional to their actual cultivation. Why don't you refuse first? Jiangyu said to Knight Sorrow. Thank you, Miss Jiang. I understand the matter, but since they have declared war, there is no reason for me not to fight. If they want to kill, then I will accompany them. I will fight until they don't dare to challenge me, Knight Sorrow said. Since you have already decided, I will go and cheer for you when the time comes. If they dare to play a grudge battle with you, then they must be prepared. You have to be careful, Jiangyu reminded Knight Sorrow. After sending Jiangyu away, Knight Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. He knew what he would face next. It was either kill or be killed, but he was confident in himself. Chapter 1561. City Master Tsongning had received the news from his subordinate and came to take a look. She and Wu Feng were good friends, and she understood Wu Feng's personality. He wouldn't easily come in contact with anyone, let alone value someone. Therefore, she was curious and not here to observe. Even if Knight Sorrow couldn't win, she would arrange a suitable place for him. There was no need for her to observe. Young Tianlai came. He glanced at the highest pavilion before going to another place to watch. Today one of his subordinates, a heavenly monarch, was going to fight. He was a heavenly monarch who used to be an assassin, and was good at combat and killing. He felt that his combat experience was enough to deal with Knight Sorrow. Many cultivators who entered the cage would have their aura suppressed. It would be good if they could exert 70% of their strength. Afterward, others came one after another. One could bet on the blood battle stage. It was also a casino that brought a lot of income to the Misty City Lord's mansion every day. It wasn't taxes because the blood battle stage belonged to the City Lord's mansion. First, someone stood in front of the cage and introduced this was a grudge match. He didn't say anything about the cause as there was no need to. He just gave a simple introduction of both sides. During the introduction, he said that Slaughter Sword Li Yuan had a 10-match winning streak in the blood battle stage. When he introduced Night Sorrow, he only said 5 words, blood battle stage beggar. Night Sorrow smiled. This was too direct and didn't give him any face. It was fine if he bragged a little. No one would bet on him, so he just wanted to make a profit. Then it was time to place bets. Many people placed their bets. Night Sorrow realized that this was a place for the rich. They were rich and capricious. They casually placed bets of 100,000 or 200,000 Saint crystals. However, they were all betting on Li Yuan's victory. Even if the odds were 3-1, no one would bet on Night Sorrow. In just a moment, Li Yuan's Saint Spirit Stones had reached 1.5 million. Can I bet on myself? Night Sorrow asked the staff member. Don't bet on yourself. That would be considered cheating, the staff member said. This was because many cultivators had cultivated clones. If they were to place a huge bet, they would be able to earn a huge sum of money. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to the staff member. Of course, I'll bet a total of 1.5 million Saint Spirit Stones. If I want it, I'll bet 400,000 Saint Spirit Stones. That way, everyone will have something to eat. Night Sorrow put down 400,000 Saint Spirit Stones. The staff member said after checking Night Sorrow's storage ring. You have the life to lay down but you don't have the life to spend it, said Li Yuan, who was exuding a murderous aura. Is that so? If that's the case, then none of us need to cultivate. Night Sorrow chuckled and ignored Li Yuan's words. Then I'll also bet 100,000. I admire confident people. Jiang Yu, who came with Jiang Tianheng, shouted. Jiang Tianheng still had a smile on his face. Although his daughter had offended someone, he still had to put on a smile. There were still people placing bets, but most of them favored Li Yuan. There were only a few who placed their bets on Night Sorrow. In the blood battle arena, one's achievements outside were not very convincing. In the blood battle arena, one had to fight for one's achievements. There were no rookies here. Li Yuan was able to achieve 10 consecutive victories, which spoke volumes. Night Sorrow killing Yang Yu's clone was nothing. Then I'll bet 200,000 on Night Sorrow winning. Wu Feng came. He was dressed in a green robe. Although he coughed from time to time with his left hand in front of his mouth, no one could ignore him. Then I'll also bet 200,000. A storage ring flew out from the highest pavilion. Everyone looked up, but they couldn't see anything. Bai Ding is a newcomer. Newcomers have to set sail. The voice came out from the pavilion again. After the people in the highest pavilion placed their bets, no one else placed their bets. They thought that they had no confidence. Although not many people placed their bets on Night Sorrow, they were all big bets. No one would go against a Saint Spirit Stone. A gong sounded, and the cage opened. After entering, we'll decide who's better and who'll die. There are no other rules. The old man in charge of the blood battle arena walked out and said, Li Yuan, the energy in this guy's body is not bad. If you win, I'll bet 100,000 Saint Spirit Stones on his corpse. Gong Yufan, who hadn't placed his bets, said, I'm an outsider, but I'm not afraid of trouble. Old man, are you trying to be ruthless and shameless with me? Night Sorrow looked at Gong Yufan. Aha! Young man, the waters in this world are very deep. You'll drown once you enter. Gong Yufan laughed. You're not qualified to mess with my heart. Today, I'll be ruthless with you. 30,000 Saint Spirit Stones to buy the list of all the heavenly monarchs in the Guanyue Prefecture. I'll only take 2 copies. Whoever has them can send them to the blood battle arena. I'll leave 60,000 Saint Spirit Stones. From today onwards, as long as I'm alive, I'll take care of one heavenly monarch in the Guanyue Prefecture every day. After 30 years, all the heavenly monarchs in the Guanyue Prefecture will either be killed or expelled. Night Sorrow said coldly. And if Night Sorrow accidentally enters the Arch Realm, I'll take over this job. Datira, who was standing beside Night Sorrow, said. Face slapping. This was a slap in the face. Gong Yufan was giving Night Sorrow a slap in the face. In addition, Night Sorrow's words and decision were very sharp. Why? If Night Sorrow could really do it, Gong Yufan would be the only prefecture lord left in the Guanyue prefecture after 30 years. There wouldn't be any heavenly monarchs under his command. They would either be killed or expelled. The limit of 3 rejections was 30 years. If he was strong enough, he could definitely kill all the heavenly monarchs in the Guanyue prefecture within a year. He would either be killed or rejected once. After 30 years, everything would be settled. Aha! How bold! Wu Fing clapped his hands. Someone whistled. No matter how strong Night Sorrow was, it was bold to say such words. All right, both parties enter. When the gong sounds, the battle will begin. The elder in charge of the blood battle stage waved his arm and allowed Li Yuan and Night Sorrow to enter. Li Yuan's body flashed and jumped into the battle cage. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at Datira. Then his body flashed and entered the battle cage as well. At this moment, the elder in charge of the blood battle stage waved his arm. The battle cage's door was closed and locked with a black lock. The battle cage and the lock were made of special materials. They couldn't be opened from the inside. There was no escape. Night Sorrow waved his right hand, and the space-splitting spear appeared in his hand. He then waited for the gong to sound. At the same time, he sized up the battle cage. The interior of the battle cage wasn't small. It had a radius of 300 meters. Looking from the outside and inside gave off a completely different feeling. From the outside, it looked like a cage that was filled with a special aura. However, from the inside, one could feel the intense blood stench and aura suppression. This was the negative effect of the long years of bloody battles. Night Sorrow brandished the space-splitting spear. His body was bursting with battle intent. It was as though the battle intent was surging in all directions. The blood and black fog that was visible to the naked eye were all washed away. Chapter 1562. Those who were knowledgeable naturally knew what fighting intent represented. It was a key factor in entering the Emperor realm. Furthermore, it was rare to see someone like Night Sorrow who only had fighting intent and no killing intent. Many people couldn't understand how he had managed to cultivate it. On the other hand, Li Yuan was different. He also had a special intent realm, which was the most common killing intent in the blood battle arena. When the two of them looked at each other, a gong sounded. The battle had begun. The sound of this gong had a name in the blood battle platform. It was called the soul-seeking gong, because it represented the fall of a person. As the gong sounded, Li Yuan's body soared into the air. The saber in his hand slashed towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took a few steps back, distancing himself from the back of the cage. The space splitter spear pierced towards Li Yuan's saber. One couldn't get close to the edge of the cage because there were all kinds of barbs and sharp blades. The barbs and sharp blades were black-red in color. That was the color of dried blood. There were also black objects in some places. Those were the flesh and blood that had been pulled off by the sharp blades and barbs. If one's body was hit by the barbs, he would definitely be severely injured. The two weapons clashed. Night Sorrow took 2 steps back. Li Yuan was also repelled. After being repelled, he flipped his body and once again slashed towards Night Sorrow. After accumulating 10 undefeated battles in the blood battle arena, Li Yuan had already adapted to the aura inside the cage. This place had become his home ground. Li Yuan's saber skills were very violent. One slash after another slashed towards Night Sorrow. This was his ultimate move. The more he slashed, the stronger his aura would become until the opponent was defeated and killed. Li Yuan's consecutive slashes were released. However, his aura didn't accumulate because Night Sorrow hadn't been defeated. He blocked each slash without retreating a single step. Li Yuan would be pushed back a little after each slash. Then he would attack again. This way, he wouldn't be able to accumulate his aura. In the blink of an eye, Li Yuan slashed out 100 times, but the result was still the same. Night Sorrow waved his spear to block. He was enjoying the feeling of being in the cage, because as the battle continued, the oppressive aura within the cage became more and more intense. It constantly attacked Night Sorrow and Li Yuan, and it was like a real killing intent. Night Sorrow didn't want to show off too much because he still had the mixed blood arena. If he directly killed his opponent, he wouldn't be able to play in the future. He didn't think much of Li Yuan. Li Yuan's advantage was that his body was stronger and his attacks were more powerful. If they were repelled by him, then they would have to be suppressed by his bloody battle 100 consecutive strikes. The more suppressed they were, the harder it would be for them to display their strength, and the result would be that they would be killed. After fighting for a while, Night Sorrow attacked. When Li Yuan slashed at him, he took 2 steps forward. His left hand turned into a claw and grabbed at Li Yuan's battle blade. Then, the Space Splitter Spear was supported by the will of time and space to avoid Li Yuan's battle blade. He used the Space Rotating Dragon Kill and stabbed at Li Yuan's Dantian. Li Yuan thought that Night Sorrow would block his attack because if he didn't, he would accumulate his aura. He didn't think that Night Sorrow would change his move, and no one thought that Night Sorrow would use his left hand to block his battle blade. Night Sorrow's left hand grabbed Li Yuan's battle blade. Although it was shaken and bleeding, the Space Splitter Spear in his right hand directly poured into Li Yuan's Dantian. Then, it exploded and pierced Li Yuan's Dantian. The scene froze. Night Sorrow was still standing there. His left hand that was holding Li Yuan's battle blade was dripping blood, but the Space Splitter Spear in his right hand was nailed into Li Yuan's Dantian. At this moment Li Yuan, whose Dantian had been pierced, was flailing his legs. However, he didn't have the energy to fight back, so he could only struggle. "Spare me. I won't do it again. I won't do it again." Li Yuan's eyes, which were originally filled with killing intent and ruthlessness, were now filled with fear and begging for mercy. "You entered the blood battle arena and issued a challenge. Are you not prepared to die? You can die in battle, but you can't live in humiliation." Night Sorrow's right hand shook and pulled out the Space Splitter Spear. Then he pierced Li Yuan's head and pierced his Dantian. From beginning to end, Night Sorrow had only used one move to attack. He took the initiative to kill his opponent. With one side dead, the blood battle arena was over. The door to the cage opened, and Night Sorrow walked out after collecting his spoils. Palace Lord Gong is interested in the corpse. "I'll give it to you." Night Sorrow called out to Gong Yufan. Gong Yufan stood up and pointed at Night Sorrow. Then his angry face was replaced by a smile. Those who knew him well knew that he was really angry. "Sir, if it's convenient, please settle the Saint Spirit stones. If anyone continues to issue me a challenge, I'll accept it." Night Sorrow cupped his hands at the old man who was in charge of the blood battle arena. "All right. Men, bring out the winnings from the bets and send them to the distinguished guests." The old man in charge of the blood battle platform nodded at Yi Shang before instructing the staff of the blood battle platform. It was very efficient. In just a few moments, all the winners had received their winnings. Night Sorrow received 1.2 million Saint Spirit Stones at most. "Sir, here are 60,000 Saint Spirit Stones." Someone sent the name list of the heavenly monarchs of the moon-gazing mansion. "Please accept it for me." Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to the old man in charge of the blood battle arena. "It's not a big deal." "No problem." The old man in charge of the blood battle arena was surprised and then nodded. It wasn't a big deal, but he didn't expect Night Sorrow to be serious. It was a big deal. Not only was the old man in charge of the blood battle arena surprised, but the spectators were also shocked. Everyone thought that Night Sorrow was just trying to slap Gong Yufan in the face. Who would have thought that Night Sorrow was serious? "Aluo, let's go. Let's find a restaurant and have a feast worth tens of thousands of Saint Spirit Stones. It's not hard to earn Saint Spirit Stones." Night Sorrow nodded at Datura. "You have to call me brother for a feast worth tens of thousands of Saint Spirit Stones." Wu Fing stood up and shouted. Then he followed Night Sorrow out of the blood battle arena. Jiang Yu wanted to say something, but Jiang Tianheng pressed down on his shoulder. He didn't like Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan, but they were both prefecture lords. If they openly walked together with Yi Shang, it would be inappropriate, and it would be difficult to explain to the city lord's mansion. The blood battle arena was still going on, but the number of spectators had decreased. Night Sorrow and Li Yuan's battle was related to the reputation of the Heavenly Sun Prefecture, so more people came to watch. At this moment, in the highest pavilion, an old man handed over a storage ring and left. Prefecture Lord, that guy is really strong. He's ruthless to himself, said Xiaoxing, who was standing beside Song Ning. He's good at hiding his strength. The blood battle arena will be filled with bloodshed for a period of time. With Wu Feng protecting them and Wu Feng dragging me along, Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan won't be able to do anything. They'll have to face the next challenge. This is interesting. Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan can't blame anyone for being blind. There's a saying that one shouldn't bully a poor youth, Song Ning said as he watched Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan leave. Chapter 1563. Definitely because he has the strength. He hid his true strength. Those who don't know him might not understand, but we have seen his information. His spear art is deep, his defense is strong, his soul spirit attack is sharp, and he has absolute arts. Today he only showed a little of it. Very good. Art Songning Legion needs people like him. Let him play first. Songning Legion Lord stood up and left the pavilion. Night Sorrow, Datira, and Wu Feng found a high-class restaurant and ordered a feast. Haha. Brother, you are so domineering. Today was a great day for me, Wu Feng said with a smile. QL starter, if we follow the rules, I'm not afraid of them. The rules of the blood battle are good. The blood battle arena is also a good place. I like it there. Night Sorrow spoke his mind. He didn't hide anything from Wu Feng. Back then, I liked it too, but I haven't been there for many years. Wu Feng nodded. He felt that Night Sorrow was the same type of person as him. Although he didn't want to cause trouble and didn't want to get involved, he didn't want to fight and had a yearning. Brother Wu Feng, have you been to the blood battle arena before? Night Sorrow asked with surprise. Of course, I am one of the few arena champions. My mansion is the reward from the Ethereal City's City Lord residence for the arena champions. Wu Feng nodded. Arena champions? It's not easy. If your performance is too dazzling, no one will want to play with you. It will be difficult to achieve 100 victories, Night Sorrow said. Actually, the arena champions all came from your decision today. It is a personal declaration of war against a certain clan or faction. Only then can you achieve 100 victories easily. Normally, such a situation wouldn't happen. If you are strong, many people won't want to play with you. Besides, the grudge battle isn't something you can casually accept. You can't just point at someone and say you have a grudge against them. No one can cheat in the blood battle arena, Wu Feng said. Then my actions today should be a sufficient reason, right? Night Sorrow didn't expect there to be so many details. Of course. However, if the Heaven Monarch you challenge withdraws from the Guanyue Prefecture, then the grudge will not be established. However, no one will withdraw so easily. Wu Feng nodded. That's good. Gong Yufan showed up in front of so many people today to mess with my mental state. It's not unreasonable for me to declare war on him. What his daughter did is shameful, Night Sorrow said. The blood battle arena is a place to accumulate combat power, as well as experience. For example, if you're one of the 10 arena lords, you'll be valued by any power, even the city lord's mansion. If they were arena champions, they would all hold high positions in the city lord manor. Do you know why no one is willing to go against me? No one is willing to incur my wrath. That's because I can join the city lord's mansion at any time. It's not worth it to offend me, Wu Feng patiently explained to Night Sorrow. After listening to Edgeless' explanation, Night Sorrow understood that the blood battle arena wasn't just a place to accumulate combat strength. It was also a place for newcomers to rise. In addition, Wu Feng told Night Sorrow that the blood battle arena's rewards were very generous. It wasn't a scam, and everything was given to the person involved. Aside from the Godfiend Castle, the blood battle arena was the best place to accumulate resources. However, it was accompanied by risks. In this world, even sleeping at home can lead to disaster. There's no place that's absolutely safe, Night Sorrow said. Wu Feng nodded. He admired Night Sorrow's attitude. In addition, he guessed that Night Sorrow might have joined the Godfiend Castle. This was because when he mentioned the Godfiend castle, Night Sorrow didn't show any interest. According to Night Sorrow's personality, this shouldn't be the case. Thus, there was only one possibility. However, no one took the initiative to mention this topic. While drinking, Wufeng looked at Night Sorrow. "Brother, do you have any more of this wine?" Night Sorrow looked at the wine jar in Wufeng's hand. It was the wine jar that contained the dragonroot wine. "You know that your brother's body has colding energy. Although this wine isn't very effective, it's very comfortable. This wine really doesn't exist in the celestial realm," Wufeng said. "I still have a few jars here. Brother Wufeng, take them all. Also, if you have the materials, my wife can brew more," Night Sorrow said. "Haha, I'll get whatever materials you need. I'll have to trouble my sister-in-law when I get them." Wufeng cupped his hands towards Datura. "Brother Wufeng, you misunderstand. Night Sorrow's wife can brew wine, not me," Datura said with a smile. "Brother, you're awesome," Wufeng said with a smile after being stunned for a moment. "The materials used to brew this wine are special parts of special beasts. I reckon that dragon-tiger type beasts, even if they're a side branch, will have a very strong effect," Night Sorrow said. "All right, that won't be difficult. I'll send it to you when it's done." Wufeng nodded. After eating a table full of 20,000 Saint Spirit stones, Night Sorrow and Datura parted ways with Wufeng. The two returned to their residence. Wufeng told them that their residence should be fine. "Haha, Yishang, why do I feel like my heart is very clear? This blood battle arena is so interesting. It's practically tailor-made for us." Datura was very excited. Night Sorrow nodded. He also liked the blood battle arena and its format. When Wufeng returned to his residence, Duanyu reported the situation at Treasure Seeking Street to him. The people from Sky Sun Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture were no longer there. He also mentioned the words he heard from Night Sorrow. It was about how Night Sorrow didn't owe Wufeng any favors. "Good. Wufeng, this should be exactly what you want." Blue Moon Prefecture Lord arrived at Wufeng's residence. "Haha, Songyu, you're right. I like your temperament." Wufeng stood up and invited Songyu to take a seat. Such a person, other than those with grudges, would be appreciated by others. Songyu poured herself a cup of tea from the teapot. "Does that include you, Songyu?" Wufeng asked Songyu. "Of course. Even if you didn't recommend him, I would still want him. The Tsongning army needs people like him." Songning nodded. Wufeng smiled. Echless smiled. This was the effect he wanted. "He's so similar to you back then. I'm just worried that he'll end up like you and refuse to join the Tsongning army," Songning said. "Here we go again. Didn't I say that we're friends? As long as you and the Tsongning army need to fight, I Wufeng will help." Wufeng said helplessly. "I'm just worried. If there's a first, there'll be a second. It's both delightful and frustrating. I've decided that I won't repeat the same mistake." The aura in Songning's eyes became much sharper. "I don't know if I was right to recommend him to you." Wufeng sighed. He knew Tsongning very well. If she wanted to do something, she would definitely do it. Chapter 1564. Songning, I'd like to say a few words. There's nothing wrong with wanting him under your wing. You can do whatever you want, but don't force him. It won't do you any good, said Wufeng. Not beneficial to me? That can't be. It seems there aren't many people who can tell me not to do anything. It won't do me any good. Songning frowned. She didn't like such words. Why are you frowning? I'm not threatening you. I'm just telling you the truth. Do you know the virtuous merit saint and the virtuous merit supreme sage? Edgeless asked. If you know what you're asking, how can I not know? Why are you saying all this? Don't tell me. He's a merit saint? Which realm is he from? Songning asked. Songning could not be blamed for being in a daze. Saints of merit and virtue were too rare. 1 in a billion would be hard to find. It's not the deluxe merit saint, it's the deluxe merit grand sage. You should know that you can't use force on people like this. They won't change their beliefs because of power. Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan are both giants in front of him. But is he afraid? Songning, You can't walk the same path as them, said Edgeless. Thank you for your reminder. Actually, you really don't have to worry. You know what kind of person I am. I have my own principles. Wu Feng, are you really not going to consider joining the City Lord's mansion? I can recommend you to the War Emperor. You can even become the Lord of a prefecture, Song Ning said. You're here again. Have some tea. Wu Feng changed the topic because he didn't want to be restricted. He could help Song Ning, but he didn't want to join the City Lord's office. You're such a pain in the ass. Song Ning shook his head helplessly. Wu Feng smiled. He knew that Gong Yufan was the one with the biggest headache right now. Knight Sorrow wanted to challenge the Heaven Monarch of the Guanyue Prefecture. This was a ruthless move. If Knight Sorrow was an invincible Heaven Monarch, then the Guanyue Prefecture would be in trouble. They would either have to ask for external help or admit defeat and look for Knight Sorrow to compromise. No matter what, it would be extremely humiliating. After resting for a night, Knight Sorrow and Datura went to Treasure-Seeking Street to continue accepting alchemy business. Treasure-Seeking Street was extremely lively, because someone had appeared out of nowhere from the crowd that represented the disadvantaged group and stood up for them. Knight Sorrow appeared with Datura and Lu Yun. They were greeted with applause. You've become everyone's idol. Jiang Yu appeared with a smile on her face. She was extremely happy that Knight Sorrow had killed Li Yuan. Do what you need to do. Nothing else matters. Knight Sorrow shook his head. After entering the store, Jiang Yu felt that it was a pity that he didn't get to eat a feast worth tens of thousands of Saint Spirit stones. Who told you not to go? What's the use of regretting now? Datura said. You think I don't want to go? My father didn't allow it. The House of Azure Water supports you, but we can't go against the Heavenly Sun Mansion and Guanyue Mansion. That would put my father in a difficult position, and he wouldn't be able to explain himself to the City Lord Mansion, Jiang Yu said. I can understand. You really need to think about Mansion Lord Jiang. After all, the 7 Mansion Lords are colleagues, Knight Sorrow said. After a peaceful day, the staff of the Blood Battle platform came to Treasure-Seeking Street to look for Knight Sorrow, and gave him 2 sets of information. It was the name list of the Heavenly Monarchs of the Guanyue Mansion. The name list was very detailed. After all, the Blood Battle platform wouldn't fool people. They would only take out the Saint Spirit stones that Knight Sorrow left behind if they thought the name list was suitable and accurate. The staff who sent the information also told Knight Sorrow that he had a battle tomorrow. It was a grudge battle. The Heavenly Sun Mansion's Heavenly Monarch Vulture wanted to challenge him. The Heavenly Monarch Vulture was a mutated demonic beast that had transformed into a human form. However, he didn't fight many times in the Blood Battle platform. Accept. There was no reason not to accept. Knight Sorrow told the staff of the Blood Battle platform that he accepted the challenge. In addition, Knight Sorrow chose the person who was closest to the top of the 2 lists. Help me arrange a battle with this person. After this grudge battle, I will challenge him. Okay, we will arrange the battle and inform him. We will also inform Lord if he accepts the challenge or not. The staff of the Blood Battle platform bowed to Knight Sorrow and left. After receiving the staff of the Blood Battle platform, Knight Sorrow continued to refine elixirs. Knight Sorrow didn't need to prepare anything for such a battle. He had already defeated the Arch Realm cultivators. Why would he be worried about the battle with Heavenly Monarchs? Datura wasn't worried either. She knew her husband's strength. Heavenly Monarchs and Heavenly Monarchs were nothing in front of Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow might be young, but he had killed his way out. He wasn't a flower in a greenhouse. A lot of forces were paying attention to Knight Sorrow's battle on the Blood Battle platform. When the announcement came out, many people knew about it. They didn't know Knight Sorrow and didn't know how strong Knight Sorrow was. They just wanted to see how far Knight Sorrow could go in the battle with Sky Sun Prefecture and Discerning Moon Prefecture. After all, Knight Sorrow had only displayed tyrannical strength in the previous battle. There were too many cultivators with strong strength. It didn't necessarily represent combat strength. Jiang Yu came to Knight Sorrow's place. She was more concerned about Knight Sorrow. As soon as there was news of Knight Sorrow's battle, she came over. Night Sorrow, you don't have to accept it. There's no need to be angry. It's okay to reject a battle. Jiang Yu was afraid that Night Sorrow would do anything in a fit of anger. Do you trust me? If you do, then continue to bet on me. There's no need to consider anything else, Night Sorrow said. Okay, then I'll place my bet. Jiang Yu nodded. Aluo, here's 1,000,000 Saint Spirit Stones. Place your bet before the end of the bet. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to Datura. I have 1,000,000. I'll place my bet when the time comes. Datura smiled. Okay, we'll each place 1,000,000. If we win a few rounds, we'll get a luxurious mansion in ethereal Imperial City. I like to breathe in fresh air, Night Sorrow said. I just realized that you two are robbers. Ethereal Imperial City is a graveyard for newbies. But from what I see, it's clearly your heaven, Jiang Yu said. Night Sorrow and Datura smiled. In fact, Night Sorrow's biggest weakness was that he didn't have a backer. He was afraid that others would bully him, just like how Yang Tianlai wanted to kill him. This was something he couldn't resist. He wasn't afraid of anything as long as cultivators stronger than him didn't make a move. After resting quietly for a night, just as Night Sorrow was about to go to the blood battle arena, Ji Dao appeared. Ji Dao greets Milord. Ji Dao is back. Seeing Night Sorrow, Ji Dao bowed. How's your sister? Night Sorrow asked. Milord's elixir is very effective. The poison has been removed. All that's left is to slowly nurse her body. There's no problem now, Ji Dao said. That's good. Let's go. Let's go watch me kill people today. Lu Yin, are you coming? Night Sorrow looked at Lu Yin. Yes, Lu Yin will cheer for young master. Lu Yin nodded. His eyes were full of vigor. Normally, a slave wasn't qualified to enter such a place. Let's go. Night Sorrow called for a beast carriage with a few people, and went to the blood battle arena. Chapter 1565. There were seats for the contestants. Night Sorrow was led to a seat near the front row by the staff. I might be a regular here in the future. Can I trouble you to arrange a private room for the people I brought? We will pay for it ourselves. Night Sorrow said to the staff. Okay, we will reserve a room for you next time. The staff nodded. There were very few Emperor Realm cultivators at the blood battle stage. Usually it was king and heavenly monarchs. Heavenly monarchs were the peak, so there were instructions from the higher-ups that the heavenly monarchs had to be humble. Of course, the staff of the blood battle stage were humble, but no one dared to bully or humiliate them. The consequences would be severe. At this time, the old man in charge of the blood battle stage began to introduce the contestants. Heavenly Monarch Vulture had fought 4 battles in the blood battle stage, and won all 4 battles. He defeated his opponent in 15 minutes, which showed his strength. This time, there were more introductions for Night Sorrow. Not to mention that he was a newcomer, but because of his victory. After the introductions, it was time to place the bets. The odds were still 1 to 3 because Night Sorrow's victory didn't mean anything. In addition, Night Sorrow's performance in the previous battle wasn't dazzling. It was just that his last move was more ruthless. When the staff reminded that the betting time was about to end, Night Sorrow stood up. If I don't believe in myself, who else can I believe in? I will bet 1,000,000 Saint Spirit Stones on myself to win. That's right. If I don't believe in my husband, who else can I believe in? I also have 1,000,000 on Night Sorrow. Datura also stood up. There was nothing the blood battle stage didn't dare to accept because many people had bet on Heavenly Monarch Vulture. There were 2 to 3 million scattered customers. Even if they lost, the blood battle stage could afford it. A few million Saint Spirit Stones weren't much in the Misty Dynasty's City Lord Mansion. But here, 1,000,000 was the limit. Wu Fing and Song Ning placed 200,000 Saint Spirit Stones. They were just casually placing a bet. After placing the bets, Night Sorrow stood up and walked to the front of the cage. He didn't even pay attention to Heaven Lord Vulture. Knowing that Heavenly Lord Vulture was a member of Heavenly Sun Prefecture was enough. Whoever challenged him or wanted to kill him, he would kill them. It was that simple. This time, Gong Yufan didn't say anything. He knew Yishang's temper. If he stood up and spoke, Yishang wouldn't hesitate to slap him in the face. Therefore, there was no need to attack him verbally. He wouldn't be able to gain any advantage. Using actions was the best choice. Today, he had brought his sons and daughters to watch the bloody battle. Big sister, this is the person who hit me. Gong Xianyu looked at a woman sitting on the other side of Gong Yufan and said. The veiled woman turned her head and glanced at Gong Xianyu. You can tell father about this. He will support you. Xianing, what are you saying? Gong Yufan frowned. Did I say anything wrong? Father, take a look at what she's doing now. The veiled woman who was Gong Xianing said. That's enough. Gong Yufan interrupted his daughter. If she continued, he would be in the wrong. The cage opened and Heavenly Lord Vulture entered first. Then Night Sorrow entered. Night Sorrow didn't fly in like Heavenly Lord Vulture. Instead, he walked in step by step. When he reached his position, he pulled out the Space Splitter Spear with his right hand. As the Spirit Seeker bell rang, Heavenly Lord Vulture moved. His body flickered as he pounced towards Night Sorrow. Why did Yang Tianlai choose Heavenly Lord Vulture? It was because he noticed that Night Sorrow's body was tyrannical, so he chose a speed type. As soon as Sky Lord Vulture attacked, Night Sorrow knew Sky Lord Vulture's type. His speed was strong, but speed was not his weakness. However, in order to make the battle go smoothly, Night Sorrow felt that it was more appropriate to use strength to fight. Night Sorrow used the Space Splitter Spear to block the opponent's attacks. He blocked Heavenly Lord Vulture outside and didn't give him a chance to attack. The sound of weapons clashing constantly rang out. Heavenly Lord Vulture's speed was fast, but he couldn't break through Night Sorrow's spear technique. The main reason was that Heavenly Lord Vulture was forced back. Actually, this wasn't just a difference in strength. Night Sorrow also had speed, but he used strength to cover it up. No matter how much Heavenly Lord Vulture's speed increased, it was useless. Datira smiled. She understood what Night Sorrow meant. She knew that Night Sorrow had the will of time and space and was extremely proficient in speed. Heavenly Lord Vulture's speed wasn't enough. Night Sorrow did this to build a foundation for the battle to come. Everyone was thinking about whether speed would defeat strength. Was speed the only thing that couldn't be broken, or was strength the advantage? Most people couldn't think of a certainty. The battle was very intense. Night Sorrow had been on the defense and didn't take the initiative to attack. The battle had been going on for close to 15 minutes. Night Sorrow felt that it was about time to end it. After fighting for 15 minutes, it was enough to give people a subjective impression. Since he decided to end the battle, Night Sorrow's fighting style changed. C_X when Heavenly Lord Vulture attacked Night Sorrow again, Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear didn't block. Instead, he dodged Heavenly Lord Vulture's sword and continued to stab towards Heavenly Lord Vulture's Dantian. Go die. Heavenly Lord Vulture thought that Night Sorrow's speed couldn't keep up. He moved to the side and dodged the Space Splitter Spear's attack path. His sword continued to stab downwards at Night Sorrow's chest. But at this time, Night Sorrow raised his left hand. His left hand was filled with thick energy as he grabbed Heavenly Lord Vulture's sword. Following that, his right leg kicked towards Heavenly Lord Vulture's Dantian. Heavenly Lord Vulture was in a dilemma. If he retreated, he would have to abandon his sword. If he didn't retreat, he wouldn't be able to dodge Night Sorrow's kick. He couldn't retreat. Without a weapon, he was like a beggar without a stick. A short knife appeared in Heavenly Lord Vulture's left hand and stabbed towards Night Sorrow's head. He wanted to use the method of exchanging injury for life to force Night Sorrow to retreat. At this time, Night Sorrow's strength advantage was revealed. He raised his left hand that was holding Heavenly Lord Vulture's sword and smashed his elbow onto Heavenly Lord Vulture's left wrist that was holding the short knife. This caused Heavenly Lord Vulture's left hand to be lifted up, causing him to lose the direction of his attack. At the same time, his right leg smashed into Heavenly Lord Vulture's Dantian, directly shattering Heavenly Lord Vulture's Dantian and sending him flying. Heavenly Lord Vulture's right hand that was holding the sword didn't have the support of chi, so he couldn't hold the weapon. After sending Heavenly Lord Vulture flying, Night Sorrow's feet shook. The ground that was made of special materials let out a violent rumble. Night Sorrow's body used the rebound force to chase after Heavenly Lord Vulture. He directly pierced through his head and landed on the ground. Yang Tianlai, the person you chose is still not good enough. Are you trying to make me earn Saint Spirit stones? Then I will thank you here. I have a venue tomorrow. Remember to hurry up and arrange people. Knight Sorrow looked at Yang Tianlai and said. Yang Tianlia's fists were clenched so tightly that they made cracking sounds. He was one of the 7 palace lords of the Misty Dynasty. How many years had it been since someone dared to go against him like this? Now that his son's avatar had been destroyed, he still had to suffer the impact of someone else's words. He had lost all his face. The host of the blood battle stage opened the cage. Knight Sorrow, who had come out of the cage, felt 2 cold lights looking at him. Chapter 1566. Knight Sorrow and Gong Yufan looked at each other. Then Knight Sorrow smiled and returned to his seat. Then it was time to calculate the profits. Knight Sorrow and Datura had made a lot of money. But Knight Sorrow knew that such opportunities were rare. The odds might change next time. After giving out the winner's profits, the host continued to talk about Knight Sorrow's battle tomorrow. Tomorrow Knight Sorrow would fight against Guanyue Prefecture's Lord of Heaven Guanhao. It would be a grudge battle. The time was today. Evening was the prime time, so the intense battles were arranged at this time. The ethereal imperial city occupied a vast area. Countless cultivators gathered here. However, no matter how many cultivators there were, heaven monarchs were the best among them. Therefore, there were not many battles between heaven monarchs. There were many battles in the blood battle arena, but most of them were between king and the sovereigns. Therefore, the blood battle arena attached great importance to the battles between heaven monarchs. After hearing the announcement of the next battle, Knight Sorrow left the blood battle arena with Datura, Ji Dao, and Lu Yun. Young master, today's battle was very exciting. Ji Dao's eyes were full of yearning. Do you want to go too? However, the blood battle arena is a dangerous place. Therefore, think before you do anything. Be careful. Knight Sorrow looked at Ji Dao and said. Then Ji Dao, think about it. Ji Dao nodded. He naturally knew that Knight Sorrow was going to fight to the death today. Wu Feng took the hundreds of thousands of spirit stones and left. However, he did not go with Knight Sorrow today. Knight Sorrow did not call him either. He did not want to push Wu Feng to the front. Song Ning was still on the top floor of the blood battle arena's tallest pavilion. Her fingers were tapping on the armrest of the chair. The host of the blood battle arena entered the pavilion and placed a storage ring on the table behind Song Ning. How much did you lose? Song Ning asked. About 5 million. Knight Sorrow and his wife took 6 million. The host of the blood battle arena said. This is a loss because you didn't estimate the strength of the participants. Lower the payout for Knight Sorrow for the next battle, said Song Ning. She was the manager of the blood battle arena. Then change it to 1-1. The old man bowed and said. Your name is Fu Wu, right? I said lower the odds, not even. From now on his odds will be changed to 2-1. Song Ning looked at Rune, the old man in charge of the blood battle arena. Sir, then his opponent's odds will be 1-2. I don't think anyone will bet on him winning. If he loses, our losses will be great. Fu Wu said in a low voice. That won't happen. All he will do is earn us Saint Crystals. Just follow this king's instructions. When you introduce him, focus on how amazing his strength is and don't mention anything else. Also, the 5 million limit for a single match will be temporarily lifted. Song Ning waved his hand and dismissed Fu Wu. Master, this guy earned 6 million today, Little Star said. The blood battle arena's loss of 5 million is nothing. We will double it tomorrow, Song Ning said. Yes, this guy is a fraud. He doesn't even have this kind of strength. In the few battles we know of, he has shown much more astonishing strength than this, Little Star said. Gong Yufan should be aware of this by now, but he can only accept it. Knight Sorrow will challenge whoever he wants. He may arrange for a powerhouse to deal with him. Yang Tianlai, on the other hand, is not aware of this. His son's clone was destroyed by Knight Sorrow and he is still angry. He will continue to fight blindly, Song Ning said. Little Star had been with her for a long time, and was one of the few people who could communicate with her. Night Sorrow and Datura took Ji Dao and Lu Yin to a restaurant to celebrate before returning to Treasure-Seeking Street. When they returned, Wu Feng arrived. Did you go drinking again? Brother Wu Feng is here. We made a lot of money today, so we went to celebrate, Night Sorrow said. Then, the few of them entered the shop. Here are some ingredients for brewing wine. They are all marked. Your wife can brew wine, so she must know the medicinal properties of these ingredients. Wu Feng took out a storage ring and handed it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow reached out to take it. Looking at the storage ring, he shook his head emotionally. What's wrong? Datura asked. Once upon a time, storage rings were very rare in my eyes. What about now? They are just containers for ingredients that can be found everywhere, Night Sorrow said. When the level rises, the scope of your view changes, Wu Feng said. Night Sorrow handed the storage ring and a leather notebook to Datura. Go back later and give the ingredients to 6th senior sister. Give this alchemy notebook to her too. Okay. Datura nodded. You are carrying a lot of valuables now. Be careful and hide them. Don't think about buying a mansion. You will get one eventually. The ones you buy are all low grade, Wu Feng said. Brother Wu Feng, how do you know that I want to buy a mansion? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. We all fought our way up from the bottom. Our hearts yearn for stability. That's why we always prioritize where we can settle down. Didn't you also buy a small courtyard when you came to Misty City? Edgeless said with a smile. Then I won't buy one for now. Night Sorrow nodded. Wu Feng must have said that for his own good. After chatting with Night Sorrow for a while, and reminding Night Sorrow to be careful, Wu Feng left the shop. As soon as Wu Feng left, Night Sorrow's aura changed. His main body had improved. His space-time intent had reached 99%. He would become a space-time lord if he improved further. Night Sorrow's 7th talent bloodline energy point was also active. He felt that when his will reached perfection, the 7th bloodline energy point would be completely activated. Datura left. She had to hurry back. She didn't want to miss Night Sorrow's battle. She also hoped that she would be by his side in every battle. Night Sorrow was very happy that his space-time intent had increased by 1 point. After entering the Monarch realm, it was very difficult to increase one's will by 1 point. In a good mood, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. He also felt that he had to go to the Divine Devil Castle when he had time. He had to tell Elder Nalan and Elder Lungyu that he might not have time to do any missions during this period. At this moment, Elder Nalan and Lungyu were talking in the Divine Devil Castle. I didn't expect that the kid who caused such a commotion is one of our members, Nalan said. This kid can cause trouble, but he isn't someone who can be bullied. Originally, he didn't have anyone to protect him. It was easy for others to secretly attack him. Now it seems that won't happen, Lungyu said. QYJ Starter V, well, unless it's a mission that has to be done by him. Let's not arrange anything for him, Elder Nalan said. There's one more thing. He killed the main body of the Shadow Mansion's young mansion Lord Luofei during his last mission. The grudge is huge. Now that he's causing trouble and killing people in the blood battle arena every day, it's impossible that the Shadow Mansion doesn't know about it, Lungyu said. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.